Alright, new day, new frozen orb here. So we gotta farm a little bit of resources. And then I'm gonna try advance the build, get some more damage. I wanna test if Verse Mastery is bugged. And I wanna temper and masterwork some more gear. Because I actually found some greater FX's attack speed. So I also checked my breakpoints so I can... So right now I'm at, 25 frames per frozen orb, and I can get down to 20. So that's another 20% if I get more attack speed, so that's a pretty big improvement. But that's gonna be the cap. I won't be able to get below 20 frames. I don't know what the frame is on frozen orb for wand and focus, but that's for two-hand at least. That's the fastest attack I can get is basically 20 frames. So that's 2.5 orbs per minute, per second. So that's gonna make a major difference. And again, I have like gloves with greater FX attack speed, and I believe I have like... I believe I have a ring with double masterwork attack speed on my fireball tune. But I have to check actually if I want to use that. And then yeah, in general, if I masterwork my attack speed gear to like 12 out of 12, I'm gonna be very close to the attack speed cap here for this build. But I'm still missing some resources there, so we're gonna see. So I think, I mean, my goal is tier 90. Yes, attack speed is absolutely required for this build. Because attack speed spawns the Conjurations, and the Conjurations are keeping like your mana regeneration up, they keep your damage up and everything. Your movement speed, which translates into crit with Asus boots, so it's really, like this build is like extremely attack speed hungry, basically. We always want 100% attack speed. So, I don't know the exact breakpoint on two-handed weapon, and I don't know the exact breakpoint on frozen orb. I don't know if the breakpoints are the same for all skills. I don't think so. For example, for fireball and basic skill, the highest breakpoint is 161%. I do not know how much it is for this build. Did I just do tier 75? No. What did I? No clue. So every skill basically has its own frames. So for example, Frozen Orb is very slow. Frozen Orb has like half the... So basically it has double the frames. So the attack takes double the amount of frames than, for example, a Fireball. And then, you know, every other attack speed value gives you like the next frame. So for example, for Fireball it is, you know, you have 14 frames between, I don't know, 120 and 160 or around 59.5 or whatever. And then at a 161% attack speed, you get the last frame, which is then 12 frames, so 5 attacks per second. And that is the same for every skill, basically. But I don't know the exact breakpoints for Frozen Orb. And also the breakpoints, I assume, are different if you're playing Wand and Focus or two-handed. So there's still some stuff to figure out here. Get the optimum. You know, it might be even worse getting back to Wand and Focus, but that really depends if you can reach the attack, like the breakpoint with the attack speed, if it makes sense. Like, let's say, you know, with Wand and Focus, the fastest breakpoint I could reach would be like 18, and with stuff it would be like 20 or so. Then it wouldn't make sense to go Wand and Focus. But if I could reach like 15 with Wand and Focus, then it might actually make sense. So it's a little bit complex. So temerity is survivability, and survivability is basically pointless at a certain stage. So it really doesn't do anything for you. And also, if you play temerity, you have to play life leech. So you could play temerity with Undarials, or you can play temerity with Undying, for example. So you waste like basically another aspect. And again, at this level, you're one-shot no matter what. Like, you cannot build defensive enough. Well, actually, on like a tier 70, you can still build enough defenses to survive like a shot of those shadow clones which spawn at the very end in the boss fights. But certainly, if you reach like level 80, 85 or whatever, you're gonna be one-shot no matter how much defenses you build. So it is really all about damage. Also, you have to put rubies in your armor pieces. And as soon as you put rubies in your armor pieces, you're gonna lose 50% damage. So it's really not something you want to do. Like, building defensive is really not this whole hit farming story doesn't really work. Yeah, you can kill tormented bosses with this build, no problem. Takes like, it depends on the boss, like it takes about 2 minutes, so it's not like you can one-shot them, but you can definitely kill them, and you can just face tank them. They can kill you, basically. So why is two-hand better than Wand and Focus? Because, oh, cool. So this aspect here, Frozen Orbs explodes 2 additional times at its destination for 120% of its damage. So it is 60% damage, basically, if you don't have this aspect. And this bumps it up basically to 200 to 120%, and this comes before all multipliers. So the base damage of your Frozen Orb explosion is basically more than doubled, and after that every single multiplier will apply. So that's why it's very strong on a 200 stuff. So your Frozen Orbs really hit very hard. So look, you go from a 60% nerf before all multipliers to like a 20% buff before all multipliers. It's really, really strong. But it also has other advantages. And the advantage is you only have to temper and masterwork once, and it is just way less RNG involved then. But yeah, that's basically the story with the two-handed stuff. Touch bowls? No, okay. Why do I have this one? So I don't think I need any more these. Well, it's not cakewalk. It takes like 2 minutes, and you have to, for example, if you do Tormented Lord Zero, you always have to like press Flame Shield to dodge his like one shot, whatever, hug attack. I have no freaking idea how to call that. Like, he tries to give you a hug basically and kills you. But most bosses you can just face tank, really. Yeah, Life on Hit definitely works with Temerity, but I have no room for Life on It, so Again, these are all like viable early game things. But in late game, you cannot spare any slots for these kind of things. Like life on it, basically, you gotta decide what you're gonna take. Like 15, like life on it, or 12% critical strike chance, for example. Like, you know, it's and also life on it is like a very low value, right? So, I mean, I don't know how it would scale with Frozen Orb, honestly. But in the end, it doesn't matter because, I mean, I have permanent barrier anyway. So as you can, if you just look at my health, like I literally always have barrier because I always have like conjurations. I always have like ice blades. So I don't have any problem with keeping my barrier up. And again, life on it is not gonna save you from being one-shot if you're like too slow killing the end boss. So really, it comes down to like the meta of this whole pit story is, you know, if you can't kill the last boss fast enough, you're done. So no matter how much survivability you build, at some point there's gonna be so much shadow clones in the arena which have like one-shot mechanics, so you're just gonna die. So it's really just you have to kill the boss as fast as possible or you're done. Which is stupid and I hate it, but it is like it is. I can't change it. Sometimes these like what is with these guys? Like they have like a lot of HP. So yeah, what I'm gonna do is I can optimize. So I have all my armor pieces. I will optimize all my armor pieces with greater FX intelligence, which is gonna give me like another 50% damage. And then I'm gonna optimize my attack speed. I have gloves with greater attack speed. My problem is, at some point I'm gonna run out of enchanting materials. I think I still have like 1500 left, but they get depleted fairly fast. So I started with 5000 when this seasons thing, whatever, started, and I have like 1500 left because enchanting is like crazy expensive. You just need this angel breast or whatever it's called, and it's like a bottleneck for me right now. Everything else I have plenty of, but so at some point I will not be able to do any more enchanting, and that's going to be an issue for me. I have no flame shield. There it is. Perfect. I also would really like to get better Asus boots, because I have to dash every 5 seconds, and the animation... Where's the boss? What is happening here? The animation of the dash basically costs like 5 frozen orbs, because it's so slow. Oh my god, this is completely getting out of control here. Like, the bosses which disappear are, like, horrible. Right. Now let's finish this guy. No, 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 no. I'm not gonna die. Wait, where is he? He's gone again. So I gotta wait until I have flame shield up so I can securely kill this boss. Alright, let's go. Jesus. So none of these builds is better. Like, there is no best build. Builds are different. This build is faster in farming, but Blizzard will be better for pushing. So whatever you want to do, and it also highly depends on what your current power level is. If you're level 90, this build is going to be dog shit. If you are level 100, but you only have like tier 1 masterworked, this build is going to be bad. If you have endgame gear, this build is... So really, the question, which build is better, is like something you cannot really answer at all. The Fractured Winterglass you can farm by killing Lord Zir. Or you can find it everywhere you want. And if you have gold, you can also go to websites like Diablo.trade and just trade for it. It's all viable options. So I have to look how many materials I have. I think I can do one round of upgrading. Wonder if I want to upgrade attack speed or intelligence first. Probably intelligence is gonna be the best benefit for me. Yeah, you like mana issues. It really comes with the tempering, the master working. So the more master working you get going, the more resource cost reduction you get, and the more attack speed you get, the more conjurations you have. So at some point, the mana issues disappear, basically. You're not reaching enough armor? Like, reaching the armor breakpoint is literally the easiest thing. You just need armor roll on one item and percent armor temper on one other. And then you have your armor breakpoint. Then you put 2 skulls in your rings. And then you have armor breakpoint. So that's really shouldn't be an issue. And honestly, lucky hit, I don't have any lucky hit at all. Speccing into lucky hit is too much of an investment. You're gonna lose like so much damage. Like, I would say 70 to 80% of my damage comes from my self-cast Frozen Orb. And the lucky hit, that Conjuration throw Frozen Orb, it's a free bonus. But honestly, don't spec into lucky hit. Like, it is a wasted stat. The effect is gonna be extremely minimal. So rather get crit or attack speed or intelligence. Obviously you get lucky hit where it's free, right? For example, you get Aspect of Fortune, which is free lucky hit. But you don't, whenever you can get something else than lucky hit, get something else. Oh wow, this guy hurts sometimes. Yeah, you die easily, that's the point. So, you do not want to get hit. If you get hit, you die. That's... But damage reduction affixes, they never worked. Intelligence you want to have on every single item. Period. So intelligence, every item has to have intelligence. That's the most important. So I have one ring, this ring here, which has one dead stat. So this is missing crit. But as you can see, intelligence, 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 intelligence. So intelligence, most important affix. You still need the maxed armor because otherwise you're just gonna die in the dungeon. Because, you know, just a random mob will hit you. So maxed armor is basically 85% physical damage reduction. So if you just build like half of your armor and you only have 50% physical damage reduction, you're just gonna die like to everything. And the mobs in the dungeon, they don't hit very hard, but if you don't have maxed armor, they're still gonna one-shot you. Tier 1 pit mobs are... Ooh, I don't even know. I think level 150 or something like that. No, wait. They are level 100, actually. Tier 1 pit is level 100. The stagger on bosses, really, there's an affix you can craft on your armor pieces. So every armor piece you can craft... lucky hit chance to slow, lucky hit chance to freeze, lucky hit chance to immobilize, like these stats. So you temper them on your armor pieces. And once you keep masterworking those armor pieces, those rolls get fairly high. And these stagger the boss very, very fast. And then additionally, you have Snap Freeze and the other passive, I don't know, which does chill. So you have all in your passive skill tree, which basically applies stagger. And that's how you stagger the bosses so fast. And obviously you have to throw like a lot of Frozen Orbs, right? So right now I'm playing with Frozen Orb enchantment. Plus I have like 50% chance to throw an extra frozen orb. So that's why I can stagger so fast. Yeah, I know. I know that it's hard to add gems. That's why I don't play on the seasonal realm, because I knew that beforehand. It was in the PTR already, so I was playing the PTR and I couldn't socket my gear. And I was like, what the hell? Right? And then I was killing a world boss and it literally drops like one of the item. So whenever you do, like, if you do every single world boss, every, like, what is it, 4 hours or 3.5 or something like that, or 6, I don't even know, you get like one socketing material, which is just stupid. Yeah, code front, correct. Yeah. So I decided not to play on the seasonal realm, and then I'm very, very happy with that decision. Because literally there's nothing I need on the seasonal realm other than having no resources. And, you know, it wouldn't be even that bad having no resources, but the problem is it's bad don't even having the chance to farm the resources. Yeah, it's a ghost time, but I don't care. Like, I play solo anyway, so... honestly, I don't understand why all the players are playing season, because... my expectation was actually that a lot more players would actually skip this season. Or, I mean, skip the seasonal realm and just play on their eternal realm, because for me it's like a no-brainer. So I have everything on the eternal realm, and yeah, obviously, like, if you want to level a new character, that's like completely fine, like completely legitimate reason. But for me, since the game is exactly the same on seasonal and eternal, for me the decision was just, you know, I just play eternal because then I can just start right away and I'm not gonna get resource starved. Oh no, this is bad. Ah, okay. So that was just my decision then, because I just thought, you know, I don't really care about the seasonal quest line and stuff. Yeah, okay, if you play PvP, that's... I don't know, I've never played it. When will it become viable? I think it becomes viable if you can get your items masterwork to 8 out of 12. And you're level 100 and you have everything maxed. But, I mean, you can play it way earlier. Not a big deal. You just gotta stick to your limits. Right? So, if you want to play this build early, like, let's say you're like level 80 or level 70, whatever you are, right? And you happen to get your hand on the amulet. So this is pretty much the same for every single build. As if you are not in endgame, if you are still farming your stuff and everything. So the only thing you worry about is fixing your resource. You don't care about damage at all. You just, you know, it doesn't matter at all. Throw Aspect of the Umbral on. Like, that's gonna fix your mana right there. 100% mana fixed. It really doesn't matter. Put, like, resource regeneration on all your items. Put, like, resource cost reduction on all of your items. Just, you know, go crazy for resource. And if you fixed your resource, you can play in a fluent way. And as soon as you can play in a fluent way, it's gonna be 15 times better than, you know, trying to squeeze out a little bit more damage by putting offensive aspects on all your gear. And then just, you know, getting mana starved and not having anything. So, rather just go some tiers lower and fix your resource. And if your resource is fixed, then work on upgrading your gear. And you're not gonna get resource fixed without heavy investments until entering the very late game. It takes, you need at least 8 out of 12 tempers, 8 out of 12 masterworking. You need the right resource tempers. You need good items. You need good. So you really need a lot to fix your resources and to be able to, you know, go through this like I'm doing without any resource problems whatsoever. You're not gonna reach that like on level 80 or whatever. So really, that's just my advice I can give to everyone. Fix your resource. Everything else is irrelevant. So for this build, basically priority number 1, resource. Priority number 2 is attack speed. That's why I built the basic build with Ace's Ferocity aspect. So you have your attack speed fixed, because attack speed is gonna be very hard to get on the base items. So, and then once you have that, you know, go to whatever, level 30 pits, level 40 pits, whatever you can farm. Or if you're level 80, go to level 1 pits. And whatever you can farm, just farm, get your gear, and advance. Like, there's no build which is gonna work like in an endgame variant, like... Oh, that was stupid, by the way. Straight. So it's really not... And if you, even if you get Starless Skies, like, it's absolutely terrible. That item is complete dog shit, right? It's gonna fix some of your issues, yes, but, you know, that is the rarest item in the game. Like, do you really wanna, like, farm... I don't even know how many Durail runs. Do you want to do like 100 Durail runs to get a Ring of Starless Skies? While you can just fix your resource with some legendaries and some aspects? So, just think about it. Like, there's no point going for Starless Skies because it's gonna be garbage in the endgame build anyway. Starless Skies is gonna cost you like 50% of your damage if you use it, because it's just, you cannot temper, it has no legendary aspects and everything. So, it's really not a good item. But yeah, it's great for fixing your resource, so if you know, if you just have it, like if you're lucky that you find it, you know, you can use it, but don't farm for it. It's not a good item anymore. Legendaries are way, way better than those uniques. Like, all uniques are basically busted at this point. Yeah, but Pit 65 is fine. But honestly, if you're doing Pit 65, I recommend doing Pit 61, honestly. Because you're probably gonna be faster in Pit 61. And the difference in materials is like super, super low. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm never gonna run Duriel. Like, I'm never gonna go farm Duriel again. Like, this is just something I don't do. I don't want to do it. If they put me the Duriel altar there and, you know, I can summon a new one directly after the first one despawned, okay, I'm gonna do it. You know, if they fix the stone drop rate so I can do the tormented Duriels, I will do it, but I will never do this basic Duriel grind. This is just like mind-blowing. It's like something I will never ever do. And especially now, because all Uber uniques are basically terrible except for Shako. So, I don't know. I just feel like that system with the Duriel farm is like absolutely terrible. I hate it. Just have it drop like some kind of, you know... Just have it drop the stupid, what is it called, Resplendent Sparks. Well, it's the same actually, but, you know, I don't like farming like that. I like farming, you know... you have a 10% drop chance to drop a crafting material, and then if you have like 100 crafting materials or like 10 crafting materials, you can craft your item. I don't like this low drop chance story. I rather, you know, I just don't like the RNG aspect, because, you know, there's possibility that you have to do 500 runs and you don't get your freaking item. And I just don't think that's good. Right? I think it's rather, you know, give it like, add a material, give it a relatively high drop chance, but then, you know, require 100 Durail runs to craft an Uber unique. Or require 50 Durail runs to craft an Uber unique. Just take the extreme RNG out. It's like something I don't really like. I just feel like it's not the current state of like games. People don't want to have RNG. People want to have control over their itemization. And it's way more like people think in time investment. They think, hey, how many hours do I need to farm this item? And then they say, oh, is it going to be 15 hours? Well, I'm not going to do it. So it's more like, give me like, you know, you're going to need 5 hours to farm this item, but, you know, after 5 hours, you're going to have it. And then I'm going to do it. But, you know, worst thing is, you know, let's say you do 200 Durail runs and then you'll be like, oh, I screw this. Like, this is stupid. I'm stopping, right? So then you wasted like 10 hours of your life to do like 100 Durail runs and you don't even have the stupid item. Just not, I just think it's not healthy. And that's why, you know, other games usually have trading for that, but trading, you cannot trade Uber Uniques, which is okay, I guess. But I don't know. I feel like, you know, if there would be a trading platform and Uber Uniques would be tradable, that would be like a great addition. But like this, I just feel like it's too much work. Like I just see it like if I have to farm an Uber Unique, I see that's work. And if I want to go work, then they're gonna work, and I'm actually gonna earn money. So, yeah, I mean, you get a spark from the seasonal quest. I mean, you can get up to 3 sparks from the seasonal quest, and then you basically need 1 extra Uber Unique, right? And then you can craft it. So, but still, you need to find 1 Uber Unique, which is, I mean, this million times better than, you know, having to farm 4 Uber Uniques and then destroy them and craft one. So, I mean, if the and that's why I say with the tormented bosses, the drop chance on Uber Uniques are like 10%, right? So that's all right. The problem is, you know, I did probably. So I have 8 of these Stygian stones, and I used 8. So I found 16 so far, and I probably did like 200 or 300 pit runs. So this material is so damn rare that I cannot even run the tormented bosses. So what the game is forcing me to do is do like a group rotation again. And I don't want to do a freaking group rotation, man. I just want to kill the boss and be happy. So why do you limit my access to those tormented bosses? Like I already have to farm the boss materials, and now you limit my access even more with this stones. You know, I just feel like these things are not right, and they gotta be, you know, adjusted. But you know, this is season of the PTR, so right, this season's like, this season doesn't even exist. This season is no season. We just got a new itemization, and we got a lot of new systems which are not perfect. They are like far away from being perfect, but they are still good. Like the systems are good. The base for the systems is great. You know, there's a lot of problems with them, yes, but it's definitely something to work on. So, and if they would do like, you know, we triple the drop rates of the Stygian stones, then you have basically the farming story fixed. Again, rune shards. I thought rune shards would be an issue because, you know, I would have to farm Helltide for rune shards, and it takes like an hour Helltide farming to get like 40 of those. And so you would have to farm an hour Helltide to do 10 pits basically. So 1 hour Helltide for half an hour pit farming, which is stupid. But, you know, I figured out if you do Nightmare Dungeons, Nightmare Dungeon tier 100 gives 18 rune shards, I believe. So, that's okay. I mean, I still hate it. I think it's stupid, and I don't want to do it because I hate it to gate content behind other content. But Blizzard is just doing that because, I don't know, that has something to do with shareholders, really. If they have a shareholder meeting, they want to, like, you know, put on a nice PowerPoint, and they don't want to say, you know, our players have been engaging in these 17 different types of content, and it's, like, so great. Right? And the shareholders don't care if you're being forced. Like, if you would just drop everything in the pit, I would skip all the other content because, you know what, I just want to play the content I like most. And I hate it to basically force me to play content I don't like most for absolutely no reason. The only reason to force me to play this content is the existence of the content. And Blizzard has been doing that for years now, like, especially like in World of Warcraft and stuff like that. They have really just enforcing you to play content just because it's there. Because they're, but yeah, you know what? We developed this content, so now you have to play it. Because otherwise we have developed it for nothing. And so yeah, that's the whole story behind that. And I really don't like the idea. I would just say, you know, everything should drop the same. Like random drops everywhere, and don't force me to play Helltide if I don't want to play Helltide. Yeah, I mean, if you play Nightmare Dungeon for Glyph, you're gonna end up with like 300 rune stones, and then if you run out, you have to go back to Nightmare Dungeons. So... yeah, so Masterworking fixes your mana. So really, the temperings, like the resource cost reduction and stuff like that, they rise with tempering. It's very important. The attack speed rises, more conjuration spawns. Like, it's really all coming down to tempering and masterworking. And again, like I just said it, you're like a fresh 100, right? There's absolutely no reason for you to play Storm Swell. There's like, just remove that Storm Swell aspect, Swow aspect of the Umbrella on, get your mana regeneration. Absolutely fine, right? So really fix your resource first. Just get everything in regards of resource and worry about your damage later. You have way more than enough damage even without playing offensive aspects. Like, you're fresh level 100, you cannot do level 61 pit anyway. So you still have to farm and masterwork your gear. So that's my recommendation. Like, 30% damage means nothing if you're out of mana. So an aspect of the Umbral is really strong for mana regeneration. It gives you 6 mana if you crowd control an enemy now. So it really does a lot. And also on your like armor pieces, get those mana per second rolls. Right? On your helmet, get mana per second. On your chest piece, get mana per second. And if you don't have Asus boots, on your boots, get mana per second. If you get these 3 mana per second rolls, you're gonna have absolutely no problems. And then you go from there. And you will notice, like, the more and more you masterwork your gear, the closer you get to, like, if you get to like 8 out of 12, like, these mana issues are gonna become way more, like, way less important. The breakpoint is like, if you get like 10 conjurations up at a time, then you basically have no problems with mana. So as you can see, if you look at my bar, like, I have the conjuration mastery and I usually have like 10 conjurations up. And the 10 conjurations with the conjuration mastery just fix your mana basically by itself. T-Ball's Pants is not gonna fix your mana. So T-Ball's Pants is only activate when you become unstoppable. So it will activate if you press Flame Shield and if you do teleport. So basically it's gonna give you, what is it, like 50 resource or something like that every 5 seconds. So I burn through like 100 mana a second. So really T-Balls is not gonna do anything for you. Just throw that T-Balls away, it's like garbage. I mean, it gives you maximum resource, which is, you know, it doesn't matter so much since the mana regeneration in this build is not based on lucky hit. So that's the good thing about this build, that the mana regeneration is not based on lucky hit, so you're always on full mana if you reached your breakpoints. And that's like very important because, for example, I was making a fireball build and, you know, you need to invest like such a crazy amount of resources in resource regeneration because the only resource regeneration you can get is based on lucky hit. And so basically it works like, you know, 80% of the time or 90% of the time, but then you have the 10% of the time where you just don't get a lucky hit in like 2 seconds and then you get like out of mana, and that's completely gonna break your flow there, right? So you have to basically overcap your resource generation by like an extreme amount just to account for the instance that you're not getting enough lucky hits. So that is really what I don't like about lucky hit based mana regeneration. I hate the concept like completely. I want just mana leech and I'm good. Yeah, you can play Metamorphosis on your boots, but it's so terrible. Like, it's just such a clunky playstyle. I mean, you can do it, but I completely hate it. Also, you basically have to play Asus boots. Asus boots is like so much damage. So, I mean, if you don't like it, it's okay, but it's 30% crit and it's like huge. No matter how you put that, that item is gonna be required. So let's do some upgrading soon. Why not Starless and Tar Rusher Ring? So a legendary ring with an aspect gives you about 80 to 90% damage. So if you do the calculations, like a Tal Russia ring gives you 45% damage, and it doesn't give you attack speed. A Starless Skies ring gives you 40% damage, and it doesn't give you attack speed. Yeah, your movement speed is 100% all the time, so it's 30%. Period. If I pull up my character sheet and I click on Asus boots, you see current bonus 28%, because mine is a 28 roll. So Asus basically always gives you 30%. In this build with Conjuration Mastery alone, if you have 10 Conjurations up, you get 60% movement speed. So I'm not dashing now, I have 9 Conjurations, 10, now I click on it, see, 28%. Right? 28%, not without even dashing. So 10 Conjurations, Conjuration Mastery, 6% movement speed per Conjuration is 60% movement speed you have in this build by default. So you don't even need to dash with Asus to have the full crit bonus. And it's really up 100% of the time, so it's really extremely strong. And yeah, so again, about the Tal Russia ring and the Starless Skies ring. So Tal Russia ring gives you 45% damage, and it gives you a cooldown reduction. I mean, it's nice to have cooldown reduction, I would like to have it, but you know, I just don't have a spot in this. If you have a build which is extremely cooldown reduction hungry, I think Tal Russia ring is still a valid option. Like those speed farming builds, for example, like teleport enchantment kind of speed farming builds are like extremely hungry for cooldown reduction. And you definitely play these with Tal Russia ring. And then also builds which can get the force stack. So you have to have a weapon slot to temper shadow or poison damage, or you have to play Andariels, which is both not possible in this game, so in this build. Because you have to play the extra cast of Frozen Orbs on your weapon, so you cannot play the Force Tal Russia stack, so you cannot even get the 60%. And even if you get 60%, a Legendary Ring is still gonna give you more damage. So, a Legendary Ring is gonna give you an aspect, right? Which is 30%. Let's just call it the aspect 30%. Then the second thing it's gonna give you is 150 intelligence. So that's another 15%. We're at 45, right? So then the ring gives you, let's make it 10% crit chance. It's even more, like it's 12%, but let's just make it 10% crit chance. So if you play Devouring Blaze, a crit multiplier is 80%. So 10% crit chance of 80% is basically 8%, but you have to also add the additive critical strike damage. So you can make this like roughly another 10%. So you can roughly say 10% crit is 10% damage, just roughly. And so then you basically have 30 from the aspect, 15 from the intelligence is 45. You have 10 from the crit is 55. Then you have attack speed, which is mandatory in this build. It's also DPS, 10% attack speed is technically 10% DPS, right? So you had 65, and then you have the additive damage, right? So this is a stupid roll, right? Just look at this roll. 131% damage to frozen enemies, right? So if you temper this on your ring, 130% damage, and you look at my additive damage and sum them all together, right? You have crit damage 300, let's just make it vulnerable 700, so this is 800. Damage with cold, so we had like 1100. And then we have damage, so this is 1350, 1450, 1500% additives, right? So the 120% is roughly another 10%. So you add like 75% extra damage you get from the Legendary Ring compared to the 40 you would get from the Tal Russia Ring. And also you have the second temper, which is resource cost reduction. So, and I'm not even talking about greater affixes here, right? Greater affixes, if I had greater affixes, it would be way, way stronger. So really, it's like the unique rings are just not viable anymore. There's like very special scenarios where they are viable, but in general they're not. So for the enchantments, it is really like about the stagger. So if you do ice blades, you get a little bit more damage. Like if you put ice blades enchantment, I would say you get like, you know, 2 more conjurations, which is essentially 12% extra damage. It's a little bit extra mana regeneration, right? So it also a little bit more movement speed for crit with your Asus. So it gives you like a little bit of a advantage. But since I have my crowd control fixed, I'm playing the Frozen Orb enchantment because I have a very high chance to cast double Frozen Orbs now, and it's still not high enough. It will get way higher. And there's no damage caps. I don't know who's... So there's absolutely no cap in damage. I'm not sure who's like... what that is supposed to mean. Like additive damage have no cap. So... the build guide link is in the description of the stream. So I think I have enough materials to do some crafting now. And then I can show you how I can massively improve. Then I can probably jump like 5 levels farming if I do a round of crafting. And then later if I... So I want to get all 12 out of 12. But I don't think I have enough resources for that. No, Tarasha's not good. Just remove that from your brain. Like, literally, I know there's a lot of Tarasha fanboys, but again, for this build, it's absolutely terrible. For builds which can get the 4 stack, it's okay, but it's not better than a legendary ring. And especially greater affixes. If you have, like, in the very late game, greater affixes, what is the greater affixes on your Tarasha ring gonna do? They're gonna give you 10% extra damage or, like, you know, a little bit of resource generation. But that's it. Like, if you hit greater affixes on Tarasha ring, it doesn't matter whatsoever. Except for cooldown reduction, and cooldown reduction has very strong diminishing returns. So, and greater affixes on a legendary ring are like, you know, you get a greater affix on intelligence, that's 5% damage right there. You get a greater affix on attack speed, that's 5% damage right there. You get a greater affix on crit, that's 5% damage right there. You get a greater affix on additive damage, that's, well, that's not 5% damage, but, you know, make it 2 or something like that. So really, greater affixes on legendary rings are, like, so far superior over whatever you can get from the Tarasha ring. And I should stop playing like an idiot here. I mean, it's not... Don't get me wrong, I'm talking about late game here, right? If you have Tarasha ring, you know what? It is especially great for early because it has the resource generation, which is a good affix. Or is it resource cost reduction? I don't even know. So it's not bad. I'm really just talking about late game, and late game it falls off. As soon as you have masterwork gear, it is not a viable option anymore. So how much do I have? Okay, I have 668. So let's get some stuff going. So really, I want to do gloves. So I have gloves with greater FX attack speed. So let me see where those are. So gloves with greater FX attack speed, this one here, that's the holy grail, man. Like, you don't find something this like, yeah, It's the holy grail, like, believe me. So let's see. Do I have any other good ones? No. So here's the thing, right? Let's so I have to enchant these with frozen orb ranks now. I don't even know if frozen orb ranks are gonna be better than crit, honestly, but probably they are. So I have to enchant these. But first of all, I'm gonna temper these. I'm not gonna brick these. Like I'm absolutely not gonna brick these gloves. So whatever damage I get. I mean, at this point, I should probably honestly switch to damage to close, which is something I'm thinking about. But this is a very dangerous temper, right? Because damage to close is an 85% max, yes. But the other ones are dog shit. I mean, damage to crowd control is okay. Damage to distant is dog shit, basically. So you can get 65 or 85 on this one. And on this one, you basically can get 85. That is the best one, right? Damage to frozen. But the other ones are also dog shit. So basically, I'm gonna do the natural and try to get for close. Because exactly, it's scary because this is my greater FX attack speed item, right? I cannot brick this. So the first stat, which is any kind of good, you know, I will take. Right? So should I take 45% damage? I mean, 45% damage is the worst roll I can get. So I guess it's fair, like, I can retemper this right now. Because the only thing which is really gonna screw me here is damage to distance. So I'm like, you know, I'm kind of fine retempering this at this point. And there you go, damage to distant. So this is damage to close. So this is exactly what I want. And so utility, you just want like the worldly fortune here, right? So this is min roll, chance to stun. Let's reroll this. This is min roll's chance to freeze. Let's reroll this. This is a min roll again. Look at this. This is like the worst possible RNG. Anyway, that's like not a game breaker though. It sucks, but it's not a game breaker. Alright, so let's enchant this baby. And now here comes the problem, right? I only have 1.3k of these left, and you know, it takes forever to enchant what you want. Especially on gloves, like you can get so many, like it is, on gloves it's ridiculous. Like even like hitting frozen orb is like, you know, the odds are like so bad. And I'm gonna settle for crit chance or frozen orb, I think. Because I don't think, I mean, how good is frozen orb gonna be? I don't even know. So you get base damage of 62k for 4 ranks. And now I remove 1, 2, 3, 4. I cannot. So it goes down to like 50. So that's a good 15%. So definitely frozen orb ranks are like better than crit. But yeah, like the enchanting, you know, I'm gonna probably burn through like all my resources. Just even getting this one item. And I really can't have that happen. So I'm gonna try it. But, you know. Maybe I'm lucky. Look, I get everything +3 but frozen orb. And this enchanting system is just dog shit. +2. I'm gonna settle with that, honestly. It's not optimal, but you know what? I can live with like -1 rank here. Alright, so let's go masterwork this. So we want to hit attack speed. don't want to hit Frozen Orb because I'm gonna get that for free. Now I gotta do the most beautiful thing in the world. I'm gonna exchange materials. What is this one I need, right?
There is magic in all things. Let me show you.
Right. Let's go on. Okay, still no attack speed. Still no attack speed. See, that's why I hate about what I hate about this RNG story. You know, just let me choose it. It's like so annoying. Now I have to freaking. It's like such a terrible system. Like really, I hate it. Somebody probably gonna like craft this for like ages now. Just to hit the stupid affix, and that's like, I don't like it. Wait, that's the wrong one. It's the right. And it's, I mean, it's 1 in 6. No, it's 1 in 5, but it's still like the odds are like terrible. And as you can see, I'm like 8 or 9 attempts in, and I still didn't hit it, which is just absolutely classic. So I'm 9 in. So with the 10s, I got it, right? So now, and this now is basically, it's reset again, right? But I'm not gonna reset it. I'm gonna keep it because I just don't have infinite resources here, right? So I literally hit the worst possible stat here, but it's okay. I'm still gonna keep this. And that feeling is just dog shit, right? I mean, but anyway, so like I have no choice of keeping this at this point, right? So so this has accelerating aspect. But that's okay. So now let's do I actually have a ring with greater FX attack speed? I don't think I have one.
How may I help you?
Okay. Oh, this one here I took from the Blizzard, but this is tempered, so I can't use it. Okay. Also, like a filter for greater FX would be awesome, right? So, I mean, I have one with intelligence, which is like... Why does it even say attack speed? This... because Asus. Okay, no greater FX attack speed ring, I think. Nope. Okay. So, but here's my improvement, right? I can improve on these armor pieces, at least on my chest piece, right? I can get a chest piece with greater FX intelligence, and I'm pretty sure I got multiple of those. You know, you could also go Asus, by the way, Raymond. I don't know if it's like, you know, I don't know if I'm like that deep in that I would switch to like Raymond already. But yeah, that's definitely a possibility. So this one has, oh, this is perfect. This already has mana per second. I like that. Okay. Wait, I have to temper it first. So what do I need on chest piece? I need total armor. Perfect. And what do I put on utility is again the whatever, Wordgy Fortune. I also don't know which are the strongest of these. I think Freeze is the strongest, but I don't even know. Okay, so go. So we want to hit intelligence, obviously, right? That's how this goes. Very nice. Some more of these, whatever, crafting materials here. And just like that, you burn like through so many resources. Like, it's like crazy. No, wrong guy. So if I hit intelligence now again, I will be very happy. So again, I hit like a completely useless stat. So I mean, I already have like 8% extra damage if I just put this on. And I don't think I should go for the fortune of resetting this once again. I'm just going to use it because I don't have enough materials to retemper this. Because I still have to enchant it. I don't really need the plus defensive skills at this point. I can probably go for maximum life here. What else can I roll? God, this also has like so many. So I'm going for max life. How much can I get? 1100. God damn it. I have 20 billion gold because I don't play on Seasonal Realm. You have resource generation on all your rings, and Conjuration Mastery is basically what is regenerating your resource. Okay, so we have Fortune here. So the last thing I want to actually optimize is... So here's the thing with the Fractured Winterglass, right? I can only get cooldown reduction, so I'm not going to touch this, even though it's like absolutely terrible. Then one more thing I can heavily optimize is my stuff, right? So I already like have the second one, but you know, I think I have more stuffs which are like workable. So we search for stuff with greater FX intelligence. So this one's already tempered. So this one is good. Let's start with this one. So vulnerable damage is a good stat, right? We can absolutely use that. So let's go tempering. So I basically want to hit like a max rolled, what is it? Chance for Frozen Orb to cast twice, right? That's the holy grail here. So, and usually you can just, you know, temper this until it's bricked. And there goes your greater FX stuff, basically. And that's how you like burn through these items. So as you can see, it's like, look, last, nice, this is good. So unfortunately, I only have one offensive left now, so maybe I'm lucky and I get any good one. So we're gonna go with the natural because I have the highest odds hitting anything good here. And well, min roll damage though, it's still terrible, but it is better than mine. I mean, I don't even know if it's better than mine at this point, but I think I'm gonna do another one. I'm pretty sure I have another one here. No, the endgame build is pretty much the same, other than I switched to Frozen Orb enchantment. So, do we have another one? Nope. 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 This one, nah. Nope. Well, actually, you could skip the maximum life and get a double damage roll. Like, what is the... Who cares about these 2k maximum life, right? I'm like glass cannon anyway. I have like so many of these. Okay, so that's it. I just got one more, basically, I can use there. I'm probably gonna use this still. I'm just gonna screw the life roll. Maybe, I mean, if I get a good one, I'm gonna use it. If I brick it, then I brick it. Oh, look at this. Nice. So now we go. I want to go damage too close here. So if I hit damage too close, I'll be happy. Damage to crowd control is okay, I guess. 118. How much is damage to close on this? 65. Well, it's 85, so I know I really wanna get this. Come on. No. Ah. Okay, so let's see which one is less bricked here. So I got this one here, which has 66% damage. And I got this one here, which has 75% damage. So I guess the right one is better, and screw the life, honestly. Like, maximum life is for losers, honestly. Like, nobody wants maximum life. Because, a lot of people don't know, you can actually get double damage stats on your weapons now, right? So you don't have to settle for life if you don't want. Right, so you can absolutely get a second damage like this vulnerable damage roll here, right? 80% is nice. So I'm gonna take this one here. Frozen Orb damage is not better than Ice Spike damage, but Frozen Orb is faster. Okay, so this is pretty... I mean, it is still, like, not very good. Let's just face it. So this has 70 plus 60 is 130. This has 75. These are pretty much the same, honestly. Like, there's no difference between these two stuffs here. I don't know if I should temper this, honestly, but I think it's good because mine has like a min roll, which is like dog shit. So I decide for one now, and the other one I'm gonna try. Okay, they're both tempered. So I'm gonna use this no matter what. So it's gonna add like a lot of potential, and I can. So on this one, if you can hit the Frozen Orb twice, right? That's the holy grail here. But that's also gonna cost like so many resources. So now if you hit it twice, right? So, well, so, I could be retempering this, but it's like an average of 25 attempts to do this. So I really can't, right? It's too expensive. So I'm gonna go with this because this is still 51% against my 46%. So I'm gonna keep upgrading this 2 levels more, and now I have 54% chance for a second Frozen Orb versus 46, so it's another 10% more Frozen Orb, so you can basically make this another 10% damage. It's not exactly 10% damage, but it's close enough. So yeah, let's do this. Wonderful. And let's give it our Frozen Orbit. Yeah, it shows resource cost reduction. It shows in the planner on rings. Pretty sure it does, actually. So resource cost reduction is better than resource regeneration, right? Well, honestly, they are pretty much the same. Resource generation and resource cost reduction, they are not a huge difference. So you can definitely use those. All right, let's do some gems here. All right, so this is good. I like this. This is now I have like even less hit points, but that is okay. I can deal with that. So yeah. So this I can optimize in tempering because this has the worst hits. And this I could also do, but I don't want to. So I kind of want to try to get more attack speed, but I probably rather keep upgrading my gear to improve the stats on the items I have now. So I can still re-roll this one here to hit the intelligence at least once. Wrong guy. Wrong guy. So, yep. Set it. Nope, I don't want maximum life. I want intelligence. Nope. And I'm out of resources again. So again, they are pretty much the same, honestly. Like, there's not a huge difference between resource generation and resource cost reduction. What was I gonna do? So I want the two ones. I want more of these. Right, so that's it. All my materials are burnt. Let's go. No, it shows. I'm pretty sure it does. What did I just do? Oh. No, the planner actually. So the late game planner shows Ice Blade's cooldown reduction. But that's late. That's very late. And I want to do this, but I can't because I don't have rings which I can still temper. So Ice Blade's cooldown reduction is basically directly translate into resources for you. Because if you have more Ice Blades, you're gonna have more resource regeneration from Conjuration Mastery. But that's very advanced. Alright, there's intelligence. Very nice. Oh my god, and out of resources once again. This is... Why can't they just make it one single resource? Like, this is like so mind-blowing to me that this conversion is like completely useless. There's absolutely no reason to have that in the game. At that, worse hit armor. Anyway, so now I have like a good chunk of extra intelligence. And I still have to put 2 topazes in my armor. Right. Let's get some more topaz here. Okay, so I'm done. I'm out of resources completely. Wonderful. I guess I'm out of resources completely, right? Yep. I mean, I could still do some tier 1s, but, you know. Let's just call this a day. Stash all this garbage. I have to clean my stash at some point. Hope that point will never come. Wait, oh my god, I'm stashing garbage. Oh god, that was like the... That was like such a huge mistake. I just stashed garbage and I'm never gonna recover from this. Now my stash is full. God damn it. So, what do you have here? Garbage, garbage, garbage. It's all garbage, right? This is garbage anyway. I don't know if this ever gonna use, but this is a decent roll. Let's just scrap these useless Tarasha rings here. Blue rose. Like, nobody's ever gonna use a blue rose. Oh, this is a nice one, actually. Enough flames. Alright, my stash is full. I am happy. White topaz, because I want to do damage, bro. I mean, they have different strengths. Like the, I don't know which one is the strongest one. So I guess freeze and stun are stronger than immobilize. But then the chance for immobilize is also higher. So I don't know if they are exactly the same in the end, right? So if you stun, it's gonna do more stagger than the immobilize, but the immobilize has a higher roll. So honestly, there is probably better ones and not better ones. But at this point, I really have no clue. So let me just advance like some tiers here. Let's go with 72. Let's see how I feel. Attack power doesn't mean anything. Wait, did I do all my aspects? I think I did. Attack power is completely meaningless. Also, attack power is different if you're in town or not in town. It takes your items, especially your attack speed, your crit chance do matter for attack power, but certain aspects don't work for attack power. Other aspects work for attack power. Like, literally that stat is, like, not saying anything. Oh, wow, these hit. I don't think I reached another attack speed breakpoint. This is also 2 tiers higher now. So I want to see if I can find a higher tier to farm. I think I can find like tier 75 maybe to farm. I mean, attack power like is like really... It also changes, like, you know, if your Conjuration Mastery stacks up and stuff like that. Like, you see, like, now it's like 93. Like, the more Conjurations, and now it's like 100k, right? So, it is really not a really good stat. It just basically takes your crit, your attack speed, and your damage. But, for example, it doesn't take damage to crowd control, right? So, if you have, for example, all damage to close, your attack power is not going to account for that at all. If you have all cold damage, your attack power is... I think it's probably not even going to work with cold damage. I think it's just going to work with flat damage, really. So, plus damage. I don't think it even works with vulnerable damage. Maybe it works with crit damage. I don't know, honestly. But it doesn't work with substats, right? Vulnerable damage doesn't work. So, no, it's no measurement. That's what I'm saying. For example, if I build 1000% vulnerable damage, and you build 1000%, or you build 500% flat damage, you're gonna have triple the attack power of me, but I'm gonna do double the damage of you, right? So just understand that that stat is not an indicator which is any kind of accurate. I mean, it's some kind of measurement, but it's not a good kind of measurement. Why do I feel like my attack speed is slower? Does that make any sense? No. I just added attack speed, right? Can see if there's a shadow clone. Okay, there's none. I mean, that was 72 in the second stagger phase, so... I mean, I can comfortably play everything which I can finish within the third stagger phase, so... This is absolutely no issue. You're supposed to get one shot at bosses. So... you have to time your flame shield. That is pretty much... So, first of all, you have to build the stagger. If your stagger is too slow and the boss can spawn 2 shadow clones, you have a problem with bosses. So most important is build your stagger. If you don't stagger the boss fast enough, he's gonna spawn a second shadow clone and you cannot control 2. You can only control 1 shadow clone. And so basically what you do is you just face tank the boss, stagger it, and when the shadow clone spawns, you just press flame shield. And that's pretty much it already. You're gonna be good. Well, if you... Look, max roll guides are for absolute beginners. They are not maintained. And the guides are updated before the season begins without them even playing the builds. So please don't question why max roll guides tell you something. So Lightning Spear, why would you put Lightning Spear on your bar? Like, the Fractured Winterglass is gonna spawn Lightning Spears for you all day long. So there's absolutely no point. Like, probably, honestly, I have to say, Lightning Spear is probably the worst skill choice you could make for this build. Because it's literally not gonna give you anything, and you're gonna lose so much. Because the Ice Blades give you cooldown reduction, which is very important. And the Ice Blades, the more Ice Blades you have, the more Ice Blades you can cast, and then you get more Conjurations. But Lightning Spear has a very long cooldown. Lightning Spear has like 18 seconds cooldown or something like that. And Ice Blades has, I think, 12 or 13, so it has a way lower cooldown. And again, you don't need to cast the Lightning Spear. You have the Lightning Spears from the Fractured Winterglass anyway, so there's really absolutely no point in doing so. So that's what I say about the quality of guys on max roll, because, you know, in my head, no matter how I put this, I cannot find any possible reason to put Lightning Spear on my skill bar in this build. Why would you get mana back if you press Lightning Spear? I don't understand. Are you sure you have similar gear? Or you just think you have similar gear? So if you look at the look at my Ice Blades cooldown, right? So do you see how many Ice Blades I cast? Like I cast one Ice Blade every like 2 seconds. So imagine there was a Lightning Spear. I would cast one Lightning Spear every 18 seconds. So I always die to this boss, by the way, if I'm talking, because you have to concentrate on 3 different mechanics, which is terrible. So you basically can cast one Ice Blade every 2 seconds. And you can cast one Lightning Spear every 16 seconds. So that's basically your answer there. What? I pressed Flame Shield and still hit me? But interestingly, I survived it. So this boss has more HP than the other ones, by the way. So I guess for like level 75, I'm still doing pretty good here. So I need the third Stagger phase, but this boss has like 50% more HP. So I guess that's still good for farm. I mean, I would like the boss if it would have the same amount of HP than the other ones. But HP is basically the biggest problem for me, aside from bosses which are disappearing. So the worst boss is like, I don't know what it's even called. I think it's like the guy with the axe who like jumps out of the screen and then comes back. That's the worst one. The second one is Sharpshooter, but Sharpshooter has only half the HP, so it's okay. So yeah. It's just Ice Blades. Cooldown is Ice Blades. And obviously cooldown reduction, but I don't have like so much cooldown reduction actually. Oh wow, this like these lightning pillars is like a little problem for me because I cannot stun them. They're still gonna hit me. No, I don't put any lucky hit chance at all. Like the only lucky hit chance I have is the 15% from the elixir, the 15% from the skill tree, the 10% from the paragon board, and the 25% from the aspect. I don't have a single lucky hit on my gear. Lucky hit is essentially a wasted stat. You can find this build in the description of this stream. Pretty obvious, right? Right. So, again, what is keeping your mana up is Conjuration Mastery. You have 10 Conjurations up, your mana is going to be fine. You have 5 Conjurations up, your mana is not going to be fine. Besides than that, nothing is going to keep my mana up. It is really just the raw mana regeneration from Conjuration Mastery. And if you struggle with mana, again, play Umbrella Aspect or whatever. Get plus mana regeneration rolls on your chest piece, on your helmet if you don't have Shako. So really fix your resource. You always play attack speed, lucky hit potion. There's literally no other potion other... Well, I mean, if you struggle with mana, you can always play resource potion, right? So that's a possibility. Oh, talking about sharpshooter. So here's the good thing about sharpshooter, like it's the worst boss because it disappears. But it also, look at the hit points of it, right? It also has half the HP. So I actually like it, but now, like, I hate that it disappears because it gives the shadow clones more time to spawn. And but still, like, it goes down so fast, like it's a joke. Right, so I don't even need 2 stagger phases on tier 75 for this guy. So it's pretty easy. So again, now I'm not saying that it's useless. I'm saying like putting it on an item is useless. Because it is always like, you know, how much investment is it to get this lucky hit? Right? If you look at my Paragon board, how much investment is it to get, where's this lucky hits thing? How much investment is it to get these 10% lucky hit? It's 4 nodes, right? So 4 nodes for 10% lucky hit. So how much investment is it to get 10% lucky hit on an item? It's going to cost you 150 intelligence, or it's going to cost you attack speed, or it's going to cost you crit. So on an item, you don't play lucky hit because the investment is too high. What is the investment for aspect of fortune? Nothing, because it's like a defensive aspect, so I don't care. So this is free 25%. That's why I use it. And same with skill tree, right? What is the investment for 15% lucky hit in my skill tree? Well, right now I could put it here, but I can actually try if I can do this again, because, you know, I'm using this snap freeze and this code front to stagger faster, and I spec out of elemental dominance. But maybe at this point I might have enough stagger to go back into it, so I will try. But basically it is the question, how much do you invest to get lucky hit? Again, I mean, I have told you 17 million times now. You gotta have 10 conjurations up at a time, and then your mana is gonna be good. Otherwise, get mana on your gear. Period. Like, it is really that simple. Conjuration Mastery fixes your mana in this build. So, you never stop casting, right? So, let me show you what happens now, okay? So now I stop casting after this mob. Let me just stop casting, right? So now let me Conjuration Mastery, let it stack down. Okay, it's now gone. So let's cast Frozen Orbs. You see, my mana is empty. I'm out of mana, right? So I keep casting and keep casting. And you see my Conjuration Mastery stacking up. I'm at 7 now, right? Now I start casting Ice Blades, right? So I'm at 8, I'm at 9. And at some point I'm gonna reach the state where it's good enough. Right, so I'm still a little bit slow because I'm not hitting anything, but you can see the mana regeneration is pretty strong at this point. And then the other very important thing is this destructive frozen orb here. You don't want to have greater frozen orb. Destructive frozen orb is the rest of the mana regeneration. Right, so if you are fighting a boss and you have destructive frozen orb and the boss is staggered, this is gonna give you infinite mana. Like, every single frozen orb hitting the boss is going to give you 5 mana back. And that gets multiplied with the mana regeneration, right? So it gets multiplied with the 60% mana regeneration from your Conjuration Mastery. And if you put it all together, you have infinite mana. Yes, it is impossible to get 10 Conjurations if you don't max attack speed. That's why this build is requiring attack speed. And that's why if you look at my build planner, the basic build is using Asus Ferocity and Aspect of Ancient Flame to max your attack speed. Because if you cannot reach the high conjuration stacks, you're gonna get out of mana. It's really just as simple as that. And then, as you can see, if you look at my conjuration stacks, I'm always at 10, and I never stop casting frozen orbs, right? Even if there's no mobs, I never stop casting. So I just go, I cast frozen orbs, and I will never stop casting frozen orbs. The only thing I do is I teleport, I dash, and I move, and I cast frozen orbs permanently, so I never get below 10 stacks of Conjuration Mastery. Vulnerable is free because you have lightning spears. Lightning spear is gonna make everything vulnerable automatically. Oh wow, this hits. I don't like these balls, by the way. But we're gonna melt it anyway. So as you can see, I'm like... You know, I just did some improvements to my gear, and my stagger is still good enough. With the elemental dominance, so I just basically picked up another 12% damage. So... As you get more and more master working, your damage is gonna get stronger and stronger. Like your, you know, if I master work my my armor pieces, basically I'm gonna get more stagger. And as I get more stagger, I can spec more out of stagger. The basic version has always 100%. Well, with buffs active, so with Asus Ferocity. So you have 50%, and that is also on gear, right? You have that's why it's the basic version. You have like attack speed on your 2 rings and on your gloves. That's like make it 30%, right? Then you add 15% from the elixir, that's 45. Then you add Asus, that's 95, so you add max. So it's really easy to get max attack speed if you're using Asus Ferocity. Okay, so let's go for some Ringos. I'm not even gonna look at non-greater FX rings anymore. I cannot deal with it. So I must have gambled like millions of rings, and I'm still looking for the greater FX one. Right. The best damage is the highest damage. So the strongest damage you can get is damage to frozen technically. Because damage to frozen here has the highest roll, right? This, I changed it to damage to close. But I want to transition into damage to close, because damage to close works outside of stagger phases, and it gives me a little bit of extra damage. I'm going to be slower in the dungeon, but that doesn't really matter at all. No, it's not for Lucky Hit. It is for conjurations. So whenever you shoot a frozen orb, you will spawn a conjuration with a certain chance. And so the more orbs you throw, the more conjurations you spawn. The conjurations are going to boost your damage. And the conjurations are going to boost your mana regeneration. So if you have the fastest attack speed, you have the most conjurations, and that is the synergy of this build. No, 3 times greater FX's gear is just locked behind crazy RNG. But you know, just be happy if you find gear with 1 greater FX you need. That's already pretty good. Like, I haven't seen any gear with like 2 useful greater FXs even. I don't even want to think of 3. No. You're not at 100% with the basic build. Calculate it again. So, if you look at the Paragon board in the basic build, that's not gonna have the 10% attack speed from gear, right? From Paragon board. I'm pretty sure in the basic build, I didn't spec into 10% attack speed. Yeah, so, I mean, it's a good armor, but the greater FX on defensive skills is essentially useless. I mean, it gives you something, but it's not strong. It's okay. I found 2 triples, and they are the worst possible triples. Like, literally, I have found 2 triples, and all 3 of the stats are completely useless. So, that is like a story of my life. But again, so in the basic build, you're gonna have attack speed on gloves and 2 rings, which is just make it 30%, right? And then you add 15 from the elixir, you add 45. You add Asus, then you add 95. Again, the lucky hit does 2 things. Staggering and the frozen orbs spawned by the conjurations are irrelevant. On the PTR, when it wasn't nerfed, where you could have 25 conjurations, it would actually matter. But since you only have 10 conjurations, the effect of the lucky hit spawning frozen orbs is minimal. So it really doesn't matter. You can just ignore it. I just take it where I can get it, but the major part of this damage comes from the frozen orb you cast yourself. The lucky hit chance on the conjurations is so minimal. So this is 77. That's pretty easy as well. So I'm at 46 per run already. Let's go to 80. 80 sounds good. No, the build doesn't work without the unique necklace. The unique necklace is the whole point of this build. Unfortunately, I have to disappoint you there. So let's do 80. I don't want to push yet. I still want to advance my gear. But I'm already like at 80, so I don't know like why all the frozen orb haters say the build is so bad. Like if I improve my cooldown reduction and stuff like that. I mean, it's like super expensive, but you know, the build is not so terrible. It's just special tactics against the bosses. You just have to accept that you have to kill the bosses within 3 stagger phases. You can have a 4 stagger phase, but it's a little bit tricky to get into the 4s because there's gonna be multiple of those clones spawning. And at some point, there is one thing you can do, and you can basically remove Firebolt enchantment. It's gonna significantly reduce the clear speed in the dungeon. But against the bosses, Fireball enchantment is essentially a wasted enchantment slot. Because you could just get a Hydra, which applies the burning for you. And then you could add another enchantment to actually squeeze out some more damage. Which could be like Ice Blades enchantment, for example. I think if I'm pushing very high and I want to get into the higher bosses, I'm going to switch Firebolt enchantment for Ice Blades enchantment. And that's going to give me like, you know, 2 more conjurations active at a time. So that's like 12% damage. So, again, I don't think we need more single target damage because it is my opinion that the other classes just are way too high. Again, nobody has maxed gear. Like, if you have maxed gear, like, you're not supposed to beat level tier 200 pit. Like, with very maxed gear, maybe you're supposed to beat, like, level 120 or something like that. And only because the other classes have bugged billion damage hitting stuff abilities, you know, that doesn't mean that the design should be focused on that. So, a boss fight should be a challenge. Like, what I'm doing right now, I'm essentially cheesing the bosses, right? So, I'm basically skipping all their mechanics because I can stagger them so fast. Is that the right way? No. But, you know, that is the easiest way to farm on this stage. But this is not going to work for pushing, right? If I want to push into, like, tier 100, I'm not going to kill this boss by just standing in front of them, tanking his huge club, and, you know, just going from stagger phase to stagger phase. I'm not going to do this because, you know what? If the boss is not dead now, I have to deal with mechanics. Right? And I don't want to deal with mechanics because I'm farming. But if I'm pushing, I should be forced to deal with mechanics because dealing with mechanics is the concept of pushing. So if the boss fight is supposed to take 8 minutes and I have to avoid all the mechanics to get my tier 100 done, then I actually reached an achievement. What I'm doing right now is I'm just abusing that I'm like such a brilliant person being able to craft such a good build, and basically just cheesing these bosses, right? So essentially, I'm doing the same thing the Necromancer does, but I'm not abusing a bug, or if you want to call it a bug, I just call it cheap game design or whatever it is, right? So I'm not doing this. I'm basically, doing something which is, which is anticipated in the game, because, I craft the build and I abuse the stagger, which is the main mechanic for these bosses. Like, there's a reason why you can stagger these bosses. You're not supposed to kill these bosses without staggering them, and that's exactly what I'm doing. If I would just do 1 billion damage with any random ability and kill the boss, like, what's the challenge? Like, it's just boring. It doesn't mean anything to me. I don't need to advance my build. If I can make 1 billion damage with 1 hit, or like 10 billion or whatever, then, I really don't see that as, I don't know. I just don't see it as a challenge. So that's why I think the design, like the bosses and everything, is pretty much good the way it is right now. And just the other classes have to come down with the one-shot mechanics, like with the, 1 billion damage hits and all that stuff. And then I would be fine. And I'm pretty sure I can do tier 100, honestly. I don't think if there's like a Sorc who has beaten tier 100 yet. I think I have seen tier 95 with like Immortal Flame Shield shenanigans, but, I think I can do it. I think I wouldn't even need 12 out of 12 for that. Like, I'm already at 80 comfortably. And I have a couple of switches I can still flip to squeeze out more damage. Again, if you have problems with mana, you have to get more Conjurations up. Just, if you have problems with mana, look at my Ice Blades. So I'm casting Ice Blades literally every 2 seconds. And I have 14 stacks of Conjurations up. And, I have no issue with this whatsoever. Like, I basically have infinite mana here. Right? No problem. And, yeah, I guess that's what I say. Like, you can probably do 100. I mean, I can probably do 100 with this. No problem. Again, I'm still, like, working on my gear. But, yeah, Firebolt probably, right? Yeah. No, Starless Skies is not good for this build. What was I gonna do? How much mats do I have? So, I mean, I can probably even go above 100, honestly. I will start pushing soon once I got some more materials. I want to still do some more upgrades. I basically want to max my stuff. So that's one thing I want to do. I definitely want to max my stuff, because that's going to be like the most important leverage for me here to get more Frozen Orb casts. Because that directly translates into like more damage, more stagger, everything. So I don't have a point in teleport in basically most of my builds, because you have on your chest piece you can get +3 to defensive skills, and that is basically free 3 skill points in your skill tree. So at this point, it's really just, it's farming, right? It's farming the upgrades. And, sadly, it is settling for bad upgrades. Because I just cannot have the materials to try to hit masterworking. What? this was strange. So I don't have the materials to get master working 2 out of... Wait, why are these not dying? Oh, they're fortified? Okay, that's a problem. They're fortified unstoppable. I don't want to deal with these guys. I have 20 billion gold because I'm very smart. And I don't play on seasonal realm. Also, I want to try if Worst Mastery is really bugged, but I will try that when I'm pushing. I don't even know if I need the mana regeneration of the Avalanche. I don't... It's also hard for me to know how much impact Avalanche actually has. Also, does Avalanche count for all the frozen orbs or just for like the initial one? Like, it's a little bit, you know, I don't know at this point. But Avalanche really procs a lot. Like, it's... Don't underestimate that. Like, if you look at this bar here at the bottom, and if I'm like in combat, and if you look, whenever it says gained Avalanche, like, you see that? Like, it's all the time. Like, I get so many free casts of Frozen Orb from my Avalanche. This dungeon is like terrible. I hate the snakes. And every of these is gonna make 40% extra damage. So again, I don't know if it's all 3 of them or just 1. But, so I don't even know if the 25% damage of if Worst Mastery is really bugged is really better than Avalanche. And that is gonna be really hard to test without like a real DPS meter, obviously. I just assume there is quite a significant uptime on Avalanche. And again, I have one more, which basically I can flip later into the game, is I can get extra resource, so I can get myself like 10%, 10 extra mana, like from a Paragon board or so. And then I can actually go to Elementalist and get 100% crit. Now the problem is it doesn't really make sense to switch and experiment during the runs. You have to do it for like an extended period of time because the bosses all have like different hit points. It's like super hard to compare them. Like every single boss basically has a different hit point pool. That was stupid, by the way. Like this, for example, has more hit points again. The other ones have less. Like there's bosses which have double the hit points. So the problem is then it really comes down to a feeling. And whenever it comes down to a feeling, you know, you cannot really account for making mistakes or not. Right? And that's why I don't really like doing this stuff based on assumptions. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, this guy is like, again, having like way more HP than the other bosses. Okay, now I have like... Now I have an issue here. Okay, I gotta... Let's go. Dodge! No! So this boss, for example, has way more HP now than the other ones for whatever reason. But sometimes it has way less HP. Like, I haven't really... What? What? Where am I spawning? Huh? What? Okay. I'm just gonna accept it. So it's sometimes like, I don't really understand it. Because I feel like sometimes the Hive Master has very little HP. But sometimes it has like a lot. So it's really hard for me to understand. Okay, that was my flame shield was too slow and I was really too lazy to dodge that guy. But this is also like the worst shadow clone you can get. Because this one here is it spawns extremely fast and then directly attacks. And the attack also takes like 3 seconds, so it's kind of difficult to dodge it. Right, so it spawns and then it attacks very fast, and after the attack he also forces you like to move. So now the boss is actually starting to do mechanics, right? And my cheese now basically ends. So everything which happens after this, I cannot dodge anymore, right? So the boss is not dead, so I'm technically too slow. And now he's starting to do bad things to me. And is not dead. So that's why I'm too slow. And now I have to do like crazy mechanics here, right? Like this one, for example, is like... And that is the randomness with the bosses. And I don't know why this boss now has so many HP. Like I did the other ones, the other tier 80s, and it was absolutely no problem. But now I got this boss and it's like completely killing me. And it's like, I don't know why. Like there's some hidden extra hit point affix or something like that. I don't know. Because I'm literally doing nothing different than with all the other bosses, right? So really I'm doing exactly the same. And this time it looks a little bit better, but for example this time he spawned these areas like one phase earlier and I can deal with these, right? So that's why, you know, it is definitely, it's a lot of RNG. Yeah, this can melt Duriel 200 without any problems. Like the tier 200 bosses are like super easy. This boss has like way more HP than Duriel 200. What? I pressed Flame Shield, dude. So I guess I'm done with this. But that's what I don't understand sometimes. And it doesn't... And I can meet this exact boss again, and it has half the HP. Like, it's super, super strange. I really don't get the point why that is like this. I feel like there should be hit points. So they should just show how many hit points the boss has. So it's like kind of transparent. But yeah, I'm going back to like 75. It's like easier farm. So again, if you want to do more boss damage, you basically switch the enchantment slot later from the Firebolt enchantment to the Ice Blades enchantment. Do we have the right potion? Yeah. And that's gonna give you like another 10 to 12% damage there. Again, Burst Mastery is something you can try. But mainly my gear is like very, very unsuperior. So... No, I don't need to use Flame Shield enchant. I just don't need to farm levels which are too high to farm. Like, there's just no point. Like, if 80% of the bosses are no problem and 20% of the bosses are a problem, I'd rather go down 5 tiers, get a little bit less materials, but I will be able to deal with all the bosses, no problem. For example, like a sharpshooter, I could be tier 100 because it only has like half the HP. While like this boss, I think Hive Master is the boss with the highest HP actually. But I don't know, like I saw like a video of, I don't even know who did it, they said which bosses has the most HP, and like the Sea Witch is one with very high. I think the Hive Master is the one with the highest HP. The Sharpshooter has the lowest, and you know there's like different HP levels of bosses, and they are like very, very different actually. See now this Sharpshooter. Oh wow, he just one-shot me. That happened. So that's what you get for being a glass cannon. But that also just sometimes happens. Like, I think I didn't had my ice armor up, and that's why he was like, you know, I'm just gonna one-shot you, dude. So, see how a Sharpshooter, like, melts? Like, this boss, like, literally has no HP. I can almost get him done with, like, a single Stagger phase. See, that took, like, what? Right? So, if I get this boss in a tier 100, like, it's gonna be, like, easy as cake. Again, attack power doesn't mean anything. It doesn't take into account your modifiers at all. So please don't look at attack power. Just meaning absolutely nothing. I'm gonna run out of materials soon anyway. I have to do some nightmare dungeons. Vulnerable. Crit damage is not good in this build because you only have 50% crit. So vulnerable damage is definitely the better stat. In general, vulnerable damage is always the better stat. There's only... come on, dude. There's only one build where a crit damage is preferable. And that is fire builds. Because fire builds have 100% crit chance. And also fire builds basically just scale crit damage, right? So the aspect of 3 curses and stuff like that. Like... These mobs are like crazy, dude. Like, I'm just gonna skip them. So fire builds, basically you go for crit damage, but all other builds you wanna go other damages. Like these lightning mobs, they sometimes just hit like so hard. I don't even know what's the deal with those. No, you cannot reach 100% crit chance with this build effectively. I mean, you could use Elementalist aspect, but Elementalist aspect, I mean, I would have to very closely watch the boss fights. Elementalist aspects is a very, very dangerous thing to play. Because either you're gonna have enough mana so you can be 100% sure. Like, as you can see, I'm almost full all the time because I have Avalanche, right? So most of the time I'm casting... Well, actually I have right now... I have the Shrine right now. But... most of the time, you're not going to be above 100 mana, unless in very special scenarios. So, first of all, very important is you need to have more mana on top of your mana pool than your Frozen Orb cost, right? So, if my Frozen Orb costs 31, I need to have 132 mana to even consider playing Elementalist. Because otherwise, I might be casting 2 Frozen Orbs in a row, and the second one is not going to have the Elementalist bonus. And then, you know, really the consideration there is Elementalist really better? Because, yeah, you can scale a little bit more crit damage, but also you're still, even with Elementalist, you're not going to reach 100% crit in this build. So if you super min-max this, you might be, I don't know, getting 80, 85. No, the bosses which summon shit are the best for this build. Because they give you free mana regeneration, man. Really, the worst bosses are the ones which disappear. Because they, so there's basically a timer. So the boss has a timer. Let's make it 1 minute, right? So let's say the boss has a 1 minute timer. And after 20 seconds, he spawns the first shadow clone. After another 20 seconds, he spawns this again, the first one. And at the third one, he spawns like 2 of them. So once you stagger the boss, this timer basically gets paused. God, Hive Master again, but I'm down like 5 tiers now. So once you stagger the boss, this timer is basically paused, right? So now the timer is paused and he cannot spawn shadow clones. And now the timer basically... I hate this goddamn boss. Now the timer basically starts again, and then he spawns the shadow clones. So if you have one boss which disappears from the arena, then he's doing the same shit with the timer again, right? So the timer basically continues while the boss is out of the arena. And that is really absolutely terrible. This boss HP is like ridiculous, eh? And he spawns like these areas which are like super annoying. This is like literally the worst boss because it can just one-shot you with these stupid areas. It's like absolutely horrible. And it's like RNG, because if you stagger him before he spawns the areas, it's easy. But if he spawns the areas before you can stagger him, then it's difficult. So you probably have to wait for unstable currents for like going to this one here. So he spawns them again. It's like so annoying. And usually I would press Flame Shield, but I have to, you know, save my Flame Shields from the Shadow Clones. See, and now, like, I get a good run, and I still have to be freaking careful with these areas, because they're just gonna one-shot me. And then he has the worst second Shadow Clone as well, so... There's really, like, you know, it's RNG on these bosses in the higher tiers. And if you're, like, a glass cannon, you have to, like, accept that you die. That's part of the farming here. Yeah, you need Conjurer Glyph. It doesn't work without. The mechanic for the cooldown is just Ice Blades. Really, that's what it is. So I'm gonna start pushing soon. I didn't know how many. I didn't look at how many materials I still have left. Again, Elementalist, you have to have... I run Elementalist, by the way. So if you mean Elementalist Glyph. Of course I run Elementalist Glyph. I mean, just check the build guide in the description, really. Like, I don't think there's a single Sorcerer build which doesn't run Elementalist. Like, that's like a default Glyph. No, Starless Skies is terrible. Again, just check the build guide in the description. I said it 70 million times already. All uniques are basically busted other than Asus boots. And the uniques which enable builds. Starless Skies is gonna cost you so much damage. It's good early game if you need to fix your resource or something like that. But it's absolutely not a preferred item. Uniques for this build are Shako and Asus boots. And obviously the amulet. Which, by the way, I could farm a better one. So I could also get like 10% more conjurations by farming a better amulet. But you know, I don't want to do it. I want to save my Stygian stones to do other Uber bosses. Oh, I have to backtrack. No. All the way? All the way. Thank you, Blizzard, for designing a terrible dungeon. I really didn't change a lot. I just removed some points from Stagger and get back into Elemental Dominance. And other than that, again, I'm using Frozen Orb Enchantment, but I didn't change a whole lot there. What? Even see that? Stupid explosions. Again, Hive Master, come on, you gotta be kidding me. 3 times in a row? This boss is like really no joke. I made no changes to the skills whatsoever. I'm just upgrading my gear. I'm not using the Frost Nova enchantment right now. No, I also say in the guide, like, the Frost Nova enchantment is for staggering bosses faster, but it's gotta come down for damage later. And since I kept upgrading my gear, I got more stagger now, and I'm pretty much good with the Frost Nova enchant, but the Frost Nova enchant is still, it plays very well. But there's really like these 3 options: Frost Nova enchant, Ice Blades enchant, and Frozen Orb enchant. And so since I have more chance to double cast Frozen Orb, I'm at 54% right now. Like at this point, I just benefit more of Frozen Orb enchantment, because it's basically just gonna give me, you know, the double casts also work on the Frozen Orb enchantment basically, so. If you want to level a Sorc, you play Firewall. Like really no other leveling build. I have a Firewall build guide on my channel. So I guess I can upgrade my staff. So I will upgrade the staff, and if I hit the Frozen Orb, I'm gonna be like freaking out. Chain Lightning has never been a good leveling build. It's like the worst possible leveling build, basically. Chain Lightning is... Well, just make it Chain Lightning is the worst possible build, period. Like, there's literally no chance Chain Lightning... Like, I'm not even gonna touch it. Like, it's so bad. Chain Lightning is completely out of this game. Like, Chain Lightning needs to be... Needs like a 300... No. It probably needs like a 500% damage buff. Or it needs like an aspect which gives you like a 75% chance so Chain Lightning does AoE or something like that. Like, Chain Lightning at the current state is just simply unplayable. No. Lucky Hit Meteor is not a build which is working. Lucky Hit chance for Meteor is just way too low. I mean, I want to try Ball Lightning this season. I think it has some damage potential. Because Ball Lightning has the highest attack speed breakpoints, basically. And also, I feel like the double cast Ball Lightning, that can be pretty crazy. Oh, wait, whoa. Okay. Oh, look at this chest armor with 2 greater affixes. What do we get? Max life on swords. Come on. Give me intelligence. Nah. Chain Lightning hasn't been... With Barber Heart, like in Season 1, Chain Lightning has been good. So let's upgrade this stuff, you know. Let's go. We can do it. I have enough. No, I'm missing one more run. Okay, one more run. I need 400. Infernal has no lucky hit. Like, just delete from your brain that burning damage will do good lucky hit. It just doesn't. Basically, the concept of lucky hit just doesn't work. All the lucky hit builds, I tried them all, they're all scuffed. Like, lucky hit chance is just way too low to get any benefit out of lucky hit. That is just the sad story. So, Ball Lightning enchant obviously is good if you're already playing Ball Lightning, because it's gonna be a very strong spell. So that's pretty much the only valid enchant, I would say, on lucky hit, which makes sense. Meteor on lucky hit, the chance is just astronomically low. Like, Meteor basically looks good, but it's not good. It just looks cool. But that is it. So... And all the... Is there even anything else? Lucky hit? Firewall enchantment. So Firewall enchantment has a decent proc chance on lucky hit, but, you know... It is good for leveling, because it's basically for free and you don't have any better alternatives. But it's also for the late game, it's like... Not even there. No, you don't get the mats back. That was a good one. If you would be getting the mats back if you reset the master working, that would be pretty stupid, right? I like the Archon from D3. It was pretty cool. But I rather want to have some more multiple projectiles. Like, you know, this is going in the right direction, but I want more. I don't want chance. So I don't want chance to cast twice. I want, you know, give me 30% chance to cast twice, 20% chance to cast double, and 10% chance to cast triple or something like that. Give me like some power. This guy has like no HP, right? This guy has like a one-shot, I think. Wait, is there a shadow clone? No. So see, sometimes you can even stagger them so fast they don't even spawn the clones. Oh no, I wasted my flame shield. That's not a good strategy. Yeah, it's, again, like, yeah, it's fun and cool looking, definitely. Like, Meteor, I really enjoyed it. Like, I really enjoyed the build last season as well. But it's just, it doesn't have the top tier damage. How do I get the build to do this? Well, I just know what I'm doing. Okay, so let's go. Master working that. Let's go. Frozen Orb. You can do it. One more. Let's go. Ah, but at least I got intelligence. I shouldn't complain about this. You know. Again, it's like... Again, it's more chance of Frozen Orb. It's a little bit more intelligence, so... It's still a good item, right? It's... You know, in a perfect world, I would start this item and temper it for so long that I have the first 2 hit on the Frozen Orb. But I'm gonna do this with another stuff. when I have materials, because right now I don't. Alright, so can I do anything? Let's start pushing, right? I only have 36 rune shards left, so we gotta push now. Let's do incense. Where's this guy? Which one is good? This one is good, right? No, this one's, yeah, all stats by 40. That sounds good. These are crazy expensive. Dodge, I don't need dodge. I don't need rest. I don't need armor. Wait, which one can you do? You can do this. No, I don't need this one here, right? Do they share cooldown? Some of these share cooldowns. I don't know which ones though. Let's see. I don't think these two do. Nope. Right. Tarasha's ring is scuffed. I'm not gonna talk about it. Everybody who is telling you Tarasha ring is good has no clue what he's talking about. Alright, now we're pushing. And I immediately hit like hell here. Like 45 extra hit points, lightning enchant. Come on. Just get me out of here. Alright, that was fun. Again 45? Come on. I don't know. I mean, I heard this build cleared tier 95 or something like that. So really, I mean, I don't need to compare myself with other classes who can do billions of damage with one hit, because I honestly don't care. Because that's cheap game design, and I don't really want to compete with that, so I compete with Sorcerers. So I'm fine if I can get a high tier with my Sorcerers. If a Barb can get, you know, 20 tiers higher, or a Rogue, you know, I don't really care at all. I just want to see the limit of this class here. Keep it. Well, I mean, look, if you have 10 stuffs, go for it. If not, vulnerable damage is pretty good. Like, these are like really like nuances, like in the highest tiers, where you really gamble for like 20% extra additive damage, which comes down to like 0.5% of your total damage or something like that, or not even 0.5, maybe even 0.2 or something like that. So I wouldn't really gamble there. At this point, I just settle. Like, if I would gamble, if I had infinite resources, you know, but I don't, so I take whatever is good enough at this point. Do I already want to switch off Firebolt enchantment? I don't know at this point. Let's see. We can have boss things. Okay, I should wait before entering the boss room, actually. Usually you should wait for unstable currents if you enter a boss room. But, you know, depends on the boss. This also has like a lot of HP. This is the easiest shadow clone thing. But this has a lot of HP. Jesus. Oh no, not that guy. Ah, didn't see it. Anyway, this time I have unstable currents, so... This has like this has too much HP for me. So I have my 3 stagger phases and the boss still has like 50%. Like so terrible. So now I have to deal with all the clones basically. Oh my god. That's not gonna end well. So the 4 stagger phase really takes a long time. Oh! I pressed flame shield, but the delay was too long. So it's... Oh my god, I'm broke. Come on. But yeah, this boss has double the HP basically, so it's like really annoying. Ah. I'm not gonna talk about the Want and Focus story. I explained it in the video, so... I told it 50 million times. I can't deal with it anymore. Just watch the video if you want to know. So... Let's just find a better boss. This is like scuffed. But yeah, I have... do I have anything damage-wise? I mean, I can still try the Burst Mastery. But these bosses, like, they should just all have the same HP. Like, I kind of... It's like stupid that some bosses literally have double the hit points. Blizzard is very strong, and it has always been very strong. Blizzard is probably for pushing stronger than this. You stagger the boss so fast because on your armor you have a lot of crowd control effects. And in general, just look how many frozen orbs I'm throwing. Like, that should be an answer, right? But in general, you have crowd control chance on lucky hit on your armor pieces, which does a major part of the stagger. But I'm already a little bit slow with the stagger again, because I took a lot of stagger out from my skill tree to get a little bit more damage. I really wish I could reach that other attack speed breakpoint, but it's gonna... I don't have materials. I need more materials to upgrade my rings. Also missing like 20% crit, which is like a major issue. Oh, nice Lisa Shrine. I can... Oh, I already clicked it. Just think about one end, you have to do the tempering 2 times, right? You have to double the RNG. So, just think about that. Even getting 1 is the biggest pain in the ass already. So, I'm gonna wait for my cooldowns here. Okay. Let's go. Wait for ice armor. What damaged me there? See, like, and now you have this boss, which literally melts, right? It's like, I don't know. I feel like that is just like weird. I mean, it doesn't melt, but you know, it melts as good as I have the ability to damage it. And I can kill it within the stagger phases, basically. Almost. Ooh, second clone. Bad clone. No, good clone. No! I didn't even see that. What was that? So these bosses are like rough. Oh damn, I pressed my flame shield there accidentally. That's not good. If there's the clone and I'm dead. So really you have to like take care of a lot of timings when doing this. Now I have no unstable currents. It's messed up, you know. What? How did that kill me? So yeah, I mean, I guess I still miss like a lot of damage for these bosses. To be fair. Let's see. This time it's looking good, right? Oh my god, this boss. What? Ah! I need more damage. I just need like 10% more damage so I can kill it. This is also one with lots of HP, by the way. What? So sometimes like this is weird because, you know, I pressed my flame shield, it didn't even shoot and I still died. I don't know if that was lag or something like that, no clue. But yeah. Okay, last chance. I hate this boss so much. Can I just get an easy one? Don't have enough damage. I have to kill him like within this stagger phase and he doesn't die. Okay. That's stupid. I'm just too weak. I'm gonna try the burst mastery now. '83. I just need a half HP boss, not a double HP boss. They don't have triple the normal health, they have like 50 times the normal health. Like these bosses have a trillions of health. Like, okay. So without avalanche, I see my mana going down at least. What? Maybe at some point you need to switch to Wanton Focus. I don't know. I will definitely revisit that at some point. Right now I'm feeling good with this setup. Everything is fortified here. It's like... I don't have Holy Bolts potion. I play on the Eternal Realm. But I don't think it would matter actually. Like I clear this so fast. I think there's bosses which spawn ads which you can kill with the Holy Bolt potion, but I wouldn't consider that a kill, that's just bug using. Like these electric guys, they are like crazy. They keep following me and I'm just running away. I don't want to deal with them. I don't know if I'm doing more damage. I feel like I'm doing less damage with the Burst Mastery right now, but you know, we will see at the boss how it goes. Nice dead end. And another dead end. Right. Let's see what we get. Hype Massa. Oh my god. This boss has the most HP of all. This is like the nightmare of all bosses, really. Because you just can't stand still and kill it. Why he always spawns these areas? Should stop doing that, please. It's like completely messing with me. I only have one flame shield and I cannot dodge areas and shadow clones. That's like really the most annoying with this boss. And he has double the HP, obviously, of all the other ones. See, if I'm lucky and he doesn't spawn, like, it's good. But sometimes he spawns. Now he spawns even though he's staggered. And now he's staggered and they despawn. That's good for me. But I still didn't make it yet. Because they are there spawn again. Oh, this boss. Invisible storms. And I have... This is also so annoying that you cannot repair. And then you have to reset. The thing is, all the other bosses are easy. There's literally like 2 bosses which have double the HP and are extremely hard, and I get them all the time. It's like so annoying, really. Just want to get past those. Well, Lilith is easy. That wasn't 5%. That was what? But that is the story. With the other bosses, it's no problem. But this boss is like, it's like whenever the problem is when you have to dodge boss abilities, then you have to move away, and then you don't see the shadow clones spawning, and then they spawn out of your vision, and that is like just something. It gets like completely uncontrollable. So really, but just imagine like really, like this boss has double the HP of the other bosses, right? So the other bosses are like easy. They always keep getting the double HP ones. But I also need to upgrade more gear, so... But I want to try to go to like 90. But it's annoying if I have to like, you know, restart because I cannot beat the bosses and I have to wait for an easier boss. That's like stupid. I don't really like that idea. Now I have a terrible Asu, but it doesn't matter at this point for me anymore. Because I have max movement speed from my conjurations anyway. In a boss fight I have like 14 conjurations up. So I have max movement speed. Also, I'm pretty sure like they had shrines when they did the bosses. Also, it's so annoying that your conjurations despawn when you enter the boss portal. Why would I get boots with an aspect? Asus is the best boots you can ever play. Like... Asus boots is like absolutely the strongest sorcerer's boots. Like they're only this is an easy boss. The only time you would not play them is like very like speed farming focused builds where you have to like go for the cooldown reduction and stuff like that. Ooh, that might have been too early. Oh, fuck. Again, this shadow clone is the worst because the attack takes so long. Hate it. Like I can't see these things on the ground. That's like the biggest issue with this with this clone here, right? So he doesn't attack, you use your flame shield, right? And you have to dodge, and then he does these things which are like hidden below your frozen orbs. So it's like super hard. But yeah, see, like a regular boss is like no problem, right? Tip on the sea captain pools, walk out of them or press flame shield. That sounds like a good solution, right? Oh, I need elixirs. So let's go on 86. No, Fireball Meteor, you cannot get Conjurations. You don't have any mechanics to keep Conjurations up. Fireball Meteor is basically Lucky Hit. So all your mana regeneration comes from Lucky Hit, and that's like really no other way. So you need to get like crazy amounts of resource cost reduction and like literally everything in the book. And what I did is I had so fast attack speed with Fireball, so I can get permanent Frost Armor and or Ice Armor, and it has a 30% mana regeneration. So there's like this passive on Ice Armor, right, where you get for every 50 mana you spend like 2 seconds off the cooldown, you would choose that, so you have permanent Ice Armor with 30% extra mana regeneration. And then yeah, you need a big mana pool, like you use the resource cost reduction elixir, you get the big mana pool. So you have like 160, 170 mana pool, and then you go all the way Lucky Hit. And you can use the aspect, obviously. Like there's this fire aspect which restores, I think it's like 20% Lucky Hit chance to restore like 15 resource or something like that. That is extremely strong. And that is gonna fix your mana, but it's for the cost of an aspect. So if you're like in early game, and you don't need the damage, absolutely fine. Just for late game, you cannot use the resource aspect, basically. But the aspect, I think it's Incinerate or something like that. I don't even know how it's called. That is actually pretty good to fix your mana. I don't think Meteor is good, but I haven't tried it. I tried Fireball and it's okay, but it doesn't hit the highest numbers, unfortunately. But again, like, it takes time to test all these builds. Like, literally, if you want to test everything maxed, you will probably need multiple months to even reach that. Because the way with the Tempering and Master working, you cannot use your items for other builds, right? You can use the defensive items. They're pretty much the same for every build. But you cannot use the offensive items. So you have to go and build offensive items for every single build, and you cannot reuse them. So that's a big issue. So you can really not try all that many builds, honestly. But let's see what I get for the 86 boss. I bet I get Hive Master again. I should just directly stop and like start a new one if I get it. Right, let's see what we get. Oh my god, come on. This is what the second boss which has double the HP. Yeah, I'm not gonna get this boss down. Like, there's no way. Like, look at the HP of this beast. It's like completely out of control. I would need 6 stagger phases for this one, I think. Or at least the Shadow Clone, the second one is easy. The problem is, like, now I don't do any more damage. I only do damage when he's staggered, and the next stagger is gonna be very, very far away. Oh god, that one. Does he just spawn 2 of the fireball shadow boys? Oh god. I'm so close to staggering him. But there's garbage in the arena everywhere. No! Oh, they were so close. Oh, this boss. Yeah, sure, you saw. You saw a meteor build clear pit 200 on the PDR, dude. But not on the live game. Nobody is gonna be able to... like, Sorg is probably not gonna be able to even beat 120. I need so much more damage. What? Come on. If they would just remove the double HP bosses, I would be fine. Oh, I just did a mistake. And I'm dead. I can't kill this one though. It's possible. I wonder if I'm close in this range. Oh god, I did a mistake. No flame shield. What was that? Did that little snake kill me? Huh. How did the boss kill me while stagger? This one and the Hive Master. Oh wow. How often does he spawn this fireball guy? Like literally 2 times in a row. No! I saw it. It's so close. Okay, I'm done. I want to have one more beatable boss. Just give me a new one. I don't even know if the Verse Mastery is good though. So it's like literally so much RNG, right? You have the RNG which boss do you get? Then you have the RNG which clones do they spawn? Like there's super easy ones and there's like super hard ones. Like for example, this one, she spawns like who does like the fireballs, like the, I think it's Elias, right? So you have to move away from the boss. You cannot stand still because, you know, if you don't have Flame Shield, there's no way you can dodge these fireballs if you're not going far away. And if you're going far away, you cannot damage the boss. While other of the Shadow clones, you can just simply, like, you know, dodge them. Like, for example, there's this one which just does, like, this 5 lines of lightning on the ground or whatever. And you just, you know, you just teleport out of it and, you know, keep nuking the boss. And it's like, super annoying, this whole RNG story. These, like, obviously these have always been, like, crazy. These vampires. But yeah, that's what you get for playing Sorceress. Glass cannon of all glass cannons. Oh my god. Go away, lightning boys. The lightning snakes, it's like the craziest guys, really. And now they're fortified as well. Oh, nice shrine. Special tactics. I should just cheese this boss with the shrine down there. I'm pretty sure that's a good one. I think I'm gonna remove this Verse Mastery again. Okay, that's a channeling shrine, that's okay. But I won't get it for the boss, it's too far away. I better get the same boss again, like Slither or Hive Master. They're gonna throw like the double HP bosses at me until I run out of rune shards. Alrighty. See what we get. That's an annoying one. What? Oh, and that's the most annoying clone, but I can beat this one, no problem. Just didn't see what clone he was spawning. That's also like the vision is like such a huge issue with these dark red. Like everything in this game is literally dark red. No, I get it, that's the theme, but you know. This one is also annoying because I have to dodge his native attacks because otherwise he's gonna one-shot me. But as you can see, like the HP of this is just half of it, basically. Oh. Oh god. Invisible tornadoes. Ah, just when staggering them. So this is basically the worst possible combination of clones. Or one of the worst possible ones, at least. Because you have the invisible tornadoes and this guy and, you know, literally you can't see anything on the ground, what's going on. So I'm probably not going to beat this one as well. And then my equipment is going to be broken again. That's like so terrible. I really don't like this. So maybe I should just accept my limits, that I'm not gonna break this. And yeah, again, like this boss, I have to dodge his attacks, and then I have to move, and then I cannot damage, and I'm done. Oh god, they should at least remove the repairing. Like, how are you supposed to try these bosses if you can only do them like 5 times and then you have to repair? It's like, I don't know. But yeah, I think, you know, this is like pretty much the end of it here for my build. Like, I really have my gears like too bad at this point. I'm really missing like another 20, 30, 40, 50% damage maybe. I'm gonna try one more time. Maybe I get an easy boss, but okay. Jesus. Every time the same. So yeah, like you keep... That's what I'm saying. This is like a farming build. This is not really a pushing build. And even though you could... I mean, I will experiment with this a little bit longer and also upgrade the items. I would just be hoping that they tune down these bosses, but, you know, they're probably not gonna do it. Or they should at least increase the masterworking materials, because I feel like for this level, like, you get like, you had like 50 or so of the masterworking materials, so you really have to beat like 15 of these dungeons to fully masterwork an item. So I feel like the progression is a little bit slow, at least. It would be sad if in the end the only thing which can withstand is Immortal Fireball, because, you know, I can cheese through these by having my 3 stagger phases and my flame shield to dodge the clones. But as soon as you need to play like 2 of these clones mechanic, it's basically over, right? It's like, you can be lucky and you can, you know, maybe get the last 5% of the boss down, but it's basically like a death timer, right? So, or it's in World of Warcraft, it was called Enrage Timer. So if the board sits the Enrage Timer, right, you maybe can get the last 1 or 2% off. I was just moving and then I hit this. And, but then, you know, you're not supposed to kill these anymore. They should just tune these bosses down. Like by 50% or something like that. And then for that, tune the dungeon up 50%. Tune the bosses down. Oh my god. This one also has double HP. At least I think it has. Yeah, looks like it, right? And this also has double mechanics I have to dodge. So I have to use Flame Shield for Shadow Clones. And then I have to use Flame Shield for the puddles. So essentially I just wasted half a stagger phase, which is already like basically over. And again, like perfect timing. Exactly when the stagger phase comes, I have to dodge the Shadow Boy. So I have to work on my strategies here. This time the timing was better. Lilith comes into the fight. Like, do you see what's going on here? Like, I'm almost at the next stagger. These clones are actually not so bad, because they're all pretty easy to dodge. And also in this arena you have the pillars where you can hide behind. Right, so... But I mean, that's how like a fight like this is supposed to be, right? So it's supposed to be difficult. But, you know, if you can in the end beat it, like, I feel like it's good. I don't want to one-shot this. What? I didn't even see this puddle. Ah. But this is one of the easier double HP bosses, I have to say. If I don't mess up the timings, I can easily kill this. So now, basically cannot use my flame shield now. What? I hate it. So that's a big issue. It's just the vision, because you don't really see the ground effects. You just have to anticipate where they are. But you know, I'm gonna do it. Oh! I pressed it. Come on, this is like annoying. No, the damage numbers are not the problem. It's the frozen orbs. The damage numbers are at the point where I'm not having visional issues here. It's just where the frozen orbs are. But yeah, this is also one of the double H. So there's basically 3 double HP bosses. Yeah, and there's just... the vision is just so bad. It's like... yeah, I'm gonna stop this here. It's like... pointless. Like, I cannot fish for bosses. I mean, obviously you can fish for bosses, but it's like, it's just plain annoying. I just need to double my damage once more. So, whatever, let's go back. They have double HP, it's just like it is. So there's 3 bosses, I think, which have normal HP. Then there's 1 boss which has half HP, which is Sharpshooter. And then is the Hive Master, the Sea Bitch, and the Slither, and they have double the HP. It is just, like, that's just the boss. The boss basically has more HP. Now, it's not about turning the graphics down. It's you should have visual feedback, right? So, like, usually, if you're like in this puddle, you know, you should get like, you know, there should be like raindrops on your screen or something like that, right? So you know you're in the puddle and you have to move out, right? Or if, you know, usually it's like, you know, don't stand in the red shit, right? So this is like usually how it's in games. If you stand in the red shit, you're gonna die. But if you stand in the shit you cannot see, it's just annoying. Like, also these things. Like, if I'm standing in the green explosion thing of the orb, just make my screen turn green, so I have a chance to react. Because there's so much stuff on the ground, like all these frozen orbs, you're not gonna see anything below these, right? Exploiters doesn't work on bosses. Please ignore attack power, it doesn't mean anything. No. If you use low FX, it's like, I don't know, I don't even want to know how it looks. But again, like, this is not my favorite kind of content, right? These bosses. The bosses with the shadow clones, it's just overtuned. And I guess it's meant like this, that you're not supposed to kill the bosses when the shadow clones are spawned. So for whatever reason, you know, you could just give me a timer, like, and just, you know, kill me. Because I don't know, that I don't even have to try then. But again, like, my gear is, like, not very optimized. So it's still fun, though. Yeah, this is not for, wait, oh, damn it. This, like, this content, I feel like, is not made for, like, couch, Xbox, whatever. Like, it's just impossible to, like, dodge all this stuff, right? So, like, if you cannot, target your teleport and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, it's probably not gonna get optimized much more, honestly. I mean, there's some things I want to try, but in general, I just feel like the, you know, the end, this build will always hit the same brick wall. Because you're just glass cannon. And the problem with Frost is just, you know, all the Frost damage is basically to crowd controlled and like to frozen. Frost doesn't really do any damage to unfrozen enemies. And that's why you only have damage during Stagger. That's like the big disadvantage of Frost. Because literally all the multipliers are Frost. Like it's 150% damage or so. You just get to like frozen. Just from like the Paragon alone, it's like 60% or something like that. It's like crazy. Yeah, Uberlilith is definitely possible with this. I can definitely kill it if I want. But I still think like I still think I'm going back to Blizzard. Because I just don't see this build pushing that high. Because Blizzard just has like so much more boss damage. And there's so much more damage potential. Because the tempering and everything is like so much more straightforward. You have the Ice Spike damage, which is a very high additive damage mod. And, you know, that is unconditional. It's basically on everything. You don't need crowd control or anything for that. So, and also the dodging, right? So if you play Frozen Orb and you have to dodge for like 5 seconds, you cannot attack. But if you play Blizzard and you have to dodge for like 5 seconds, there's still like 15 Blizzards on the mob killing it. So I just really think I'm gonna go back to Blizzard. I'm gonna try the Warn focus story one more time with like a different kind of aspect, but I'm pretty sure that's gonna be underwhelming. I dodged that, by the way. What is hitting me? And keep in mind, I don't have greater FX items, right? Like... No. No, Pit 200 is not possible for Sorcs currently. I highly doubt that's possible at all. I think Pit 100 will be doable, but you have to fish for bosses. Right? So for example, if I had a like sharpshooter boss, I could absolutely no problem. Like I could kill that on tier 100 probably. And the regular bosses also, but the double HP bosses is really for Frozen Orb. You're not gonna make it. And I feel like the fishing for bosses is not really... I don't know. I hate finishing a dungeon without getting rewards, basically. Yeah, tormented bosses are absolutely no problem with this build. But still, they're way easier with Blizzard, so... I basically see this build as a farming build. Even though you can push with this, I don't think this is the highest pushing potential. Even Blizzard can do way better than Frozen Orb. Blizzard has like 4 times the boss damage of Frozen Orb, I would say. So I would say Blizzard can possibly go like 10 tiers higher. I guess that's fair to say. I cannot tell you about Ball Lightning. I haven't tested it, but I assume it's not gonna be like game breaking. The good thing about Ball Lightning though is that it has unstable currents and lightning spears, so the thing with Ball Lightning is it has the highest possible attack speed. No, Blizzard does not want classes be tier 200. It's not expected. They specifically made the pit that it's unbeatable. That is the whole point. So you can progress and, you know, try to be the best. 200 is only gonna be beatable with like major exploits. I'm not sure that Ball Lightning is so bad. Because Ball Lightning has huge potential if you reach the highest attack speed breakpoints. Well, AOZ 25 technically... Well, I would say it... They didn't say it was unbeatable. Well... I guess they said it, but, you know, the difference here was AOZ had, like, a mechanic which gave you, like, stupid damage. Like, the farming the glyph all the way up to, like, you know, higher levels would give you, I don't even, what was it, like 1,000 something % multiplicative. So compared to the current damage state of the game right now, the glyph from AOZ would be 100 times, no, not 100 times, but, you know, maybe like 10 or 15 times the damage potential. So that's a totally different story. And now they said tier 150 is going to be the same power level, right? So, and you gotta assume tier 200 is at least going to be like 10 to 20 times more, right? So I don't think that is going to be beatable unless, you know, with exploits and bugged stuff out. If you can make like trillions of damage with your golem and stuff like that, and you have then a way to like cheese these bosses, then yeah. But Sorc doesn't have this. Not even remotely. Sorc has no infinite damage multipliers like the other classes. So even if you get the absolute maximum potential out of the highest hitting spell, which is probably Firebolt, you know, you will just hit a wall like very, very early because you simply cannot like multiplicatively scale your damage to like infinity. Yeah, but again, that's like Holy Bolt is like, you know, it's fishing, right? You need to fish for a boss which actually spawns minions. Because Holy Bolt will only trigger when you kill, like, something. So... I mean, obviously you can do that, but for me that's not like really beating it. It's just fishing and using a bug. So I don't really care about that, honestly. No, nobody will beat 200. Just like, not even Necro. It's not gonna happen. If you see the current power level, where all the classes are like around level 100 or below level 100, and even, you know, most classes can double or triple, maybe get 4 times the damage, that's all fine, but you're gonna need 100 times the damage to go to like tier 200. So really, it's like so far out of reach. I hate this Hive Master. But you know, if you're farming it, it's alright. I misclicked my flame shield there. Now I have to dodge the goddamn boss, but at least this boss is like not so hard. No, you don't know the health scaling, like it's unknown. Nobody knows. It's all hidden. This is not that bad. Other one. This 35, 33. Just gonna keep them. I don't care. One to Devouring Blaze. I think I have another one of these. life. Nobody needs a ring with Mac. Everyone's gonna keep it anyway. I'm a hoarder.
See some steel you need.
I don't play on Seasonal Realm. That's how I get so much gold. But I still wanted to try if this is better or not. So this is my last one. No more materials. Well, it's just greater affixes are completely random, right? So it's absolutely RNG. But I like, even if you get like everything in greater affix, you know, it's fine. Like, you know, there's you can double your damage, you can triple your damage. Maybe I can even get 4 times the damage, right? But it's never even gonna carry me like anywhere close to 150s. So maybe with Blizzard, I don't think the Firebolt scales infinitely as well. It scales pretty well, but definitely not infinitely. But obviously, you know, you're immortal, so you have like way more time and way more uptime on the bosses. Right? If you have permanent flame shield, you can basically nuke the boss for a full 6 minutes without without having any downtime. So that's gonna give you a lot of more potential, but you know, you're also like just gonna make it in the hundreds, right? You're not gonna get like 250, not even close. But I want to try the Firebolt. I have pretty decent gear for the Firebolt already. Unfortunately, I just burned through all my masterworking materials. But I have decent gear for the Firebolt. I think it's just usually like, you know, pushing at this point of time is basically not very smart. Because, you know what? At this point of time, you should be farming. Right? You should be upgrading your gear. You shouldn't be pushing at this time. You should be pushing when you have like endgame gear, basically. But, you know, obviously still there's nothing wrong with pushing just for the challenge. Alright, I'm out of shards. Unfortunately. How much mats do I have? That's not a lot. But yeah, I think I'm gonna stop upgrading this build at this stage. Because I just don't see this pushing extremely high. So basically what you have to do now is you have to do nightmare dungeons, right? Farm the rune shards. But it doesn't take so long. You get one shot by everything. Just don't even bother capping defenses. That is normal. The pit boss is supposed to one-shot you. The guides are up to date. The only thing I'm playing different is right now I'm playing Frozen Orb Enchantment, but you can definitely use the guide. It's up to date. It has been like the game has been out for a year, right? And everybody has been like, you know, take the stupid one-shot mechanics out, but they just don't doing it. I don't know why they refuse to take out the one-shot mechanics. Maybe they're just not capable. I think, you know, the teams at Blizzard changed so many times, they probably don't understand their own code anymore. They just can't. Like, I'm pretty sure there's certain areas of the source code they just don't touch, because they have no clue how it works. And I'm pretty sure, like, the damage calculation and everything is, like, a black box for them. Because everybody has already, like, quit who has been working on that, and nobody understands how it works. So they're probably just not even capable of doing so. So this is what I hate so much. Why do I have to play Nightmare Dungeon tier 100 to be able to get the pit? That's like just so annoying. Like this is like just brain dead content. You basically have to make a build to speed farm Nightmare Dungeon tier 100 to get your rune shards to run the pit. That's like absolutely retarded. Incinerate's just a fun build. Like literally it's like one of the worst builds. It's probably a little bit better than Chain Lightning. I think Chain Lightning is going to be the worst build on Sorc. And the next worst is probably going to be Incinerate. So now you get like, what is it? 18. So you have to do one Nightmare Dungeon and you get 18 rune shots. That's like so bad. Yeah, I mean, obviously, like you can really make a game for casuals, and I guess for casual this system is fine. Yeah, but for hardcores, it's just, I don't know. I guess you have to put it into perspective. I think you just gotta have to stop at a certain point and just say, you know what, this is enough. Let's do something else, right? So, like literally, nobody will ever get 3 out of 3 masterwork perfect items. Like literally, the chances are like 0. And I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, honestly. Because the 3 out of 3 items are so freaking rare. Like it's like literally, you know, chances of winning the lottery are probably like 100 times higher than getting a 3 out of 3 item with the affixes you need, tempered and masterworked to the perfect state. That is like so far out of reach. Like even if you want to hit, like, you know, if you want to hit, for example, let's say you want to hit intelligence 3 times, right? So you want to get the perfect item or whatever. You want to hit cooldown reductions 3 times. So the chances are 1 in 125, right? So you have to go from level 1 masterworking to level 5 to level 12 masterworking 125 times. So that's gonna like doing it once requires you to essentially play 2 hours of pit runs. So you have to play 2 hours to masterwork an item from 0 to 12. And the odds are 1 in 125 to get a perfect item through masterworking, right? So Just think about it, how like it's just literally impossible. Yeah, this build is basically requires Shako. Because you get +4 skills on Frozen Orb, and it's just like, you know, extremely strong. But I mean, for farming these levels, it's great, right? It's like way faster than like Firebolt, for example. Like farming with Firebolt takes forever because you're just so slow. And like for like these like 75s are pretty relaxed, right? I could go up to like 80s if I had a little bit of better gear. So I guess to just use it as a farming build to farm like the materials, it's pretty good. But it's definitely not for high tier pushing. The damage is just not enough. It's not super easy. So getting 5 on an affix is not super easy. It requires about 5 to 10 hours of farming pit if you get the materials. So the first one, the first chance 1 in 5 is I don't know how many materials it is. I think the first one already requires like, you know, half an hour of farming, like 5 to 10 runs just to hit the first one. And then you have chance 1 in 5 again to hit the second one. And the second one is already pretty expensive. So it's really not easy. Maybe if you're lucky it's easy, but if you're like me, like it's definitely not. Like even the 1 in 25, like at this stage you basically have to settle for 1 already because it's going to be way too expensive. Like I mean you can do it, but you have to decide, right? Do I want to spend 10 hours to upgrade 1 item, or do I want to spend 10 hours to upgrade the items which are okay first, right? So I'm not going to put these changes in the guide because, you know, the guide is still fine like it is. I don't know. These changes I made are not... It's just stuff I'm testing. So, again, in the guide, if you look at the video, it said, you know, you can choose 1 of 3 enchantments. And, you know, really, you gotta try for yourself which one fits you best. It is not like, you know, you have to play it that way. I'm just saying you can choose 1 of the 3 enchantment slots, and if you choose Frozen Orb enchantment, Frost Nova enchantment, or Ice Blades enchantment, you really have to try for yourself. It's like everybody has a different playstyle. No. There's a build guide for the Shako in the description. Right, I'm gonna do 1 more after this, then I'm done for the day. But yeah, so again, I have a Fireball guide. I'm not gonna play that on stream though. But I have a guide. I played it. It's good for farming tier 61s and maybe even above, but it's not the strongest build, to say. A little bit disappointing, but it's okay. And then I want to try Firebolt. And then I'm probably gonna go back to pushing with either Firebolt or Blizzard. But, you know, there's probably gonna be patches, so I guess we also have to wait until, you know, what patches Blizzard's gonna make. But I highly doubt they're gonna touch the pit bosses. Yeah, tier 100 is no problem. There's already Sorcs clearing tier 100. Blizzard and Firebolt will both easily clear tier 100, I think. I think Max Blizzard with like perfect stats has like so much additive damage. Like if you have ice spike damage temper on every single item, that's going. They go for like, I don't know. It's like a really high roll. They can roll for like 200% on every offensive item. So it's like crazy how much damage potential Blizzard actually has. Click intensity, it's high. You have to smash buttons in this build. No, there's a new Season 4 Blizzard guide. It's on my channel. Well, if you can't spam, really, like, this is Endgame. So, if you have mana problems, again, like, this is Conjurations. Just look, you have to get more than 10 Conjurations up at a time. If you can reach more than 10 Conjurations up at a time, you're gonna be good. If you can't, you're gonna struggle. That's really what it comes down to. So the most important is get your cooldown reduction, press your ice blades, and then you're gonna be fine with mana. And obviously you gotta hit mobs with your frozen orbs because, you know, that's gonna regenerate a lot of mana. But in general, mana is super easy in this build actually. No, ice blades are not capped at 3. Whoever told you that is like talking a lot of bullshit. I heard somebody told me they are capped at 6, and I honestly didn't test that. But, you know, I have more than 3 here all the time. Just look at my screen. There's like more than 3 ice blades. Look, wait for the boss. Look at the ice blades on the boss. You will see there's like 5 to 6 of them. No, it's not true. What you're saying is simply not true. Just wait for the boss and look at the amount of ice blades. I'm not playing Ice Blades enchantment. You will see it at the boss that there's more than 3 Ice Blades. Because Ubers are not good for Blizzard. For Blizzard, there's one good unique item, that's Asus Boots. There's literally no other unique item which is good for Blizzard. Now just count Ice Blades on this boss. So that's at least 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? So this, whoever told you this 3 Ice Blade story is like bullshit. Like, it's simply not true. Somebody also told me there was like a 6 Ice Blades cap in version 1.0. I couldn't verify that, but it's definitely not 3. So it might be 6, but it's also very hard to even reach 6, to be honest. But if I remember correctly, in the PTR footage where the Winterglass was completely overpowered, I mean, I didn't count these. I would have to go back and look at the footage and count these. And I'm pretty sure there should have been more than 6. But, you know, that's an assumption. But 3 is definitely absolutely not true. So anyway, gonna be it for today. So again, stuff with the new meta. Just accept it. Stuff is best for Blizzard. Right. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.